Hollywood is burning, and there's not a Hollywood superhero that's going to come save them. We're going to talk about it right now.
It's high noon.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you where it's at, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooters gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I fall, yeah. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. Stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, I have only a past, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win, yeah.
I used to feel like a rock, invincible. Inside my head, everything's impossible. Give me hope, give me strength, give me something. Everything that I could believe in. I recall the day I woke up, ready morning, the doctor on the phone. One more pill, one more night, hardly breathing. There's a stranger in my sky. Looked at me now, running in the dark. I'm just looking for a sign. Running in the dark. Why is this happening to me? Those words still ringing in my head. They shut me down, I spent weeks laying in my bed. Give me hope, give me strength, give me something. Everything that I could believe in.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for watching Morning Grits. Appreciate you. And as we sit here right now on Father's Day, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. I got to call mine after the show. Wish them a happy Father's Day. So all the fathers out there, happy Father's Day. But as we're sitting here on Father's Day and being blessed by having great fathers and the fathers that are in your lives, big thumbs up to that. And Hollywood is currently burning, and people don't give a shit. So we're going to talk about that right now, and we're going to point out a bunch of fucking weirdos, and my main man Julio is here to help. What's going on, buddy?
Good morning, Derek. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Go ahead and turn your mic down just a tiny bit.
Better?
Yeah,
Better?
It's a lot better. Yeah, it's
okay.
Good. So yeah, so we're gonna get into this, and I I love my country, and over the years I've seen it changing, for the good and for the bad. And it seems like everybody wants to point at social media, which I think has a lot to do with it. But I think that people are uninformed and they're only looking at headlines and think it's um only looking at headlines and saying that that's gospel. That that's the only way that the way to think. I got retards that are in my little small town that were protesting yesterday at a farmer's market. There was like 20 of them, all senior citizens, all standing there, all sad and lonely. It's like, what are you doing? Like, are you trying to change the mind of a city that has like 500 people in it?
I've seen the same headlines and same pictures, and it's almost like it's an excursion for the old folks home. It's like, all right, ladies, let's go outside. It's nice and sunny out. Here's a sign. Go.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of wonder if they even know what they're protesting, really.
I don't think they do, honestly.
No.
Because as soon as you show them a picture of George Soros or George Soros' son, Alex, they don't know who that is.
No, that's a good point.
He's literally paying money to destroy countries, including our own country, and they don't know who this person is, and they keep voting for it. That is an idiot to me. That is somebody that is not educated at all. Because if you did 5 minutes of actual research, you would have an idea that on both sides, it's not just the left, even though most times it is the left, but it's not always the left. That's another thing is people, as soon as you start, having an opinion on either side, it's like, well, the other party does it. I'm not saying that they don't do it. I'm not saying that shit at all. But it always seems like that there's sweeping going on the left-hand side, and the fucking media sweeps every time to the left.
Yeah, people don't want to be smart or intelligent or informed. They just want to be heard.
Yes, yes. It's like, I want my opinion. My opinion sucks, and it doesn't have any value to it. Like, I'm not going to say, oh, you know what? That was an actual valid opinion. I didn't think about that. You know what I mean? Like, it's like,
you're right about saying if it would take people 15 seconds of research to show that they're maybe wrong about something, but they don't even have time to do that. So they're so passionate about it, but not passionate enough to be informed about it.
Yes.
It's
sad
to see.
It's real sad that the demise of our country is because of idiots, not because of their opinion. Everybody's got their own opinion. Everybody's got their own deal that they a life situation or whatever it is. Everybody's got their thing. I'm not bashing people because of that. And I'm not bashing people that protest, even though the same protests have a table where people have to sign their name. Because why? Because they're getting paid.
Right.
I've seen it. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen it where these people are showing up, signing their name because they're getting paid. They're either 9 times out of 10, it's probably cash, because they can't be traced. So they probably handle some cash at some point, but they're signing their name.
Here's your sign. Here's your envelope full of money.
Yeah.
Now go out there and be a good protester and try not to get run over.
So it's not in good faith. That's the problem that I have. It's not in good faith. If people had to protest, then do it. That's your First Amendment right to do it. But it's not in good faith. And then when you point it out, you're an asshole, you're this, you're that, you're racist, you're sexist, all the ists. And it drives me fucking crazy.
Yep.
When it's like, you're wrong, and then you don't want to admit that you're wrong.
But to your point, people just have to get, like, who's behind it? That's where we need to focus. Who's trying to overrun our country, if you look at it that way?
Yeah.
And that's where the focus of the anger should be, not each other. I mean, there's idiots up and down protesting this and that, but they're just like robots.
Yeah.
Like wind up toys.
Yeah. And it's the same bad actors every single time.
Right. Same protesters in different cities.
Yeah, it's the Gaza people, the Black Lives Matter people, the feminists, the LGBT people, every time it's the same people. Every single time it's the same freaking person. And it drives me crazy where it's like same narrative, same people, and people don't see it. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Trump, to use an example of somebody people protest against, he could cure cancer. and they would protest it. It's mindless.
Yeah. And you know, I had cancer. My mom had cancer. My aunt had cancer. My grandmother had cancer. Like, I have a bunch of people in my family that died of cancer, and I had it. So that I'm a passionate when it comes to stuff like that. If somebody finds cancer, and I don't give a shit, or finds cancer, if somebody cures cancer and they're on the left or the right or the center, I don't give a shit.
Right.
It's about saving that person or giving them an opportunity or chance to be saved. You're not going to save everybody. Unfortunately, it sucks. And because you don't die of cancer, you die of what cancer does to you. You know what I mean? So it's like, a lot of people are like, yeah, you died of cancer, but you died because your organs failed. You died because, your heart stopped because of the medication that you were taking. So there's a lot of stuff that you don't die of cancer, you die of what cancer does to you. And that's the saddest part. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Especially watching a loved one going down that path. You know what I mean? And it sucks. So if somebody in the left, right, center, freaking white, black, orange, candy stripe, I don't give a shit. If you can find a cure, I'm about it. You know what I mean? But people on the left are like, well, if Trump finds a cure of cancer, then I'm not taking it. Like,
right.
What the fuck? What kind of take is that? That's a retarded take.
I don't know. I don't understand. You know what? On the other hand, those people, well, you know what? I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for 2 seconds for argument's sake, is they feel the same way about people on the other side, I guess. But maybe they don't even put that much thought into it, actually. So I'm probably wrong there.
I think people on the right and in the center are willing to at least listen to somebody's side. They may not agree with you, and they'll say that they don't agree with you, but they're more willing than people on the left to at least have that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. But I think lately it's getting to the point where even people on the right are like, you know what? We're tired of kind of listening to you.
I mean,
we tried that, so forget
but
it.
you're beat over the head every day by the media and social media. Like, I'll go on Twitter right now and I keep deleting or keep blocking the political stuff.
Me
and
too.
It keeps pulling right up because
And
I just get more pissed off and more pissed off. So I just keep blocking it because it's like, I don't want to fucking see that.
Yeah, I just
and
want
then
sports and music on my feed.
And something else is pulled up and it pisses me off even more. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's a constantly beating you over the head with it. And I think that people are mentally ill or they're lonely and have nothing better to do with their fucking lives. And they dive into this shit. You know what I mean? So I've got a bunch of videos. I've got a lot of short videos and clips that we can talk about.
Okay.
And then I have one, and he's a rock guy. He loves the history of rock. Okay. It's Rock Essentials with Tim. And I've been watching this guy for a while, and he does these little documentaries and talks about Laurel Canyon and the rock and roll scene in LA and stuff like that. And so we're going to watch that. And it's not necessarily because it's a rock video, even though I love it. It's great. It's talking about sort of the roots of the 60s, the late 60s and early 70s movement, where people were vocal. Yes, they were. And there was riots during the late 60s, 68, for example. There was riots and civil unrest during that time. But there was a lot of people that were in the rock and roll scene and in Hollywood where they would speak through their songs. They wouldn't speak through just getting on TV and spewing all kinds of stuff. They would give their opinion through art, which I do that. I probably do that a lot more than I want to admit, but I speak my feelings and my emotions through art, kind of like how they did back in the day. So we're going to watch this, and it's about 18 minutes, and it's a fun video, and he talks about different things of the scene and where people lived and stuff like that.
Cool. But
this kind of gives you an idea of like what it looked like back then and how people approached it. And then, back then it was like, well, how does Joni Mitchell and the Eagles and the Mamas and the Papas and the Animals and the all these bands know each other? Because they all lived in the same community with each other. They all partied with each other. So they all had influences on each other's career. So it's like, if this person blew up, chances are he knows 5 other people right behind him that's going to blow up. Like the Monkees, where the Monkees were created for a television, as a television band, on TV. But there was some legitimate musicians that were part of the Monkees.
Yeah, don't sleep on the Monkees.
Don't sleep
Won't
on the
have it.
Monkees. Even though it was goofy, it was a goofy
Yeah.
TV show. There was legitimate musicians that were part of it.
Mhm.
So it's like a lot of people don't understand. It's like, wow, the Monkees are a TV show, and all of a sudden they got a hit record. It's like, no, the people backing them were very experienced.
Oh yeah, mind you, the Monkees did not play anything back then. Somebody else did, but
That's true.
the songs were good, so who cares? And they
So,
were fun.
okay, so we're gonna watch Tim here first, and this is, like I said, it's gonna give you kind of a part of what the scene looked like. So let me share this real quick, and then I'll comment on it because I've actually been to some of these places and checked it out myself when I lived in LA.
Cool.
So let me blow this up, and then I'm gonna have to stop it a couple times because it's 18 minutes or 19 minutes, so there's gonna be commercials. So I'll have to turn it down or something.
Okay.
Hey everybody, this is Tim and welcome to the show. So over the years, I've featured a lot of iconic rock and roll homes, most of them here in Laurel Canyon, and I figured it would be fun to pick out maybe 10 of the top ones that seem to surface over and over and over again. So almost all these locations are within a mile or two radius of each other, and I've kind of ruled out the more commercial places like, the Whiskey, the Troubadour, or a recording studio. And I just wanted to stick with the places where they lived, wrote music, and partied at. So let's get started. So today, as it was in the 60s, the central meeting place and true heart and soul of Laurel Canyon is here at the Laurel Canyon Country Store. And I've been coming here at least once every couple weeks for years. And as far as I can tell, it hasn't changed a bit. But, Glenn Frey tells a cool story about the very first day he was in LA. He passed by the country store here and he saw David Crosby sitting on the steps in that, famous flat-brimmed hat and his green cape. And he'd seen him wearing it on a TV show just a week before in Detroit.
So yeah, just to kind of give you some context is okay. So Hollywood, have you ever been to California or LA or anything like that?
I've been to San Francisco a couple of times.
Okay, so just to kind of give you just a small beat on where everything kind of exists is you have Burbank, which is kind of over here, and then you have a mountain range that's right here, the Glendale Mountains and the Hollywood Mountains. And then you've got Hollywood, and then Laurel Canyon is kind of adjacent to Hollywood. It's not right in Hollywood, but it's sort of like if you started going up into those Hollywood Mountains, that's where all the houses are and all the like hippie places where they were all old school houses. But then there would be other people that would come in there and knock the house down and make a freaking mansion. So there was all kinds of different things where. And a lot of that during that time, there was just fields and old buildings that were dilapidated that they use these places as they just hang out and do drugs and get high and write amazing songs when they were freaking messed up on LSD and stuff like that.
See, I didn't know that was LA. I always thought all this scene was in San Francisco.
There probably was a scene in New York. I mean, you got the Dylan crowd in New York during this time. San Francisco, I don't know a whole lot of.
I think that was the hippie scene. Was it Haight-Ashbury? I thought that was San Francisco, where all the hippies kind of hung out back in the 60s.
But I mean, but Woodstock was full of the people from Laurel Canyon, but there was also people from New York and stuff like that. So, okay, let me get this thing going again.
When you get in here, it has that old grocery store wood smell. And when you walk down the creaking aisles or wait at the counter, it's impossible not to feel the palpable vibe of history that's here. Jim Morrison described it as the store where the creatures meet, and you can imagine pretty much every musician in the canyon shopping here, or at the very least using it as their meeting place. But right across the street right here is what was known.
Could you imagine during that time, the middle of the 60s, late 60s, and the early 70s is when it sort of kind of broke up. Going to that store and seeing the Mama and the Papas over here, seeing the Doors over here, seeing Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young over here, seeing the Eagles over here, all at a store. Could you imagine that?
That's crazy. Well, this is a question maybe for later, but I don't think there are scenes like that anymore.
I don't think there is. It's all online.
Because it was similar in London back in the 60s. It was all those great Hendrix, Yes, Pink Floyd, King Crimson would all hang out together and go see each other play. It's just,
and they were all influenced by each other in some sort of way. They were all influenced by each other.
As a matter of fact,
even if their music wasn't the same, they were influenced.
Quick anecdote on that. So, a couple of the members of Yes went to see King Crimson when King Crimson first started.
Okay.
And their comment after the show was the one guy from Yes turned to the other guy from Yes and went, "We've got to practice more." They had to keep up with each other.
You have to keep up with the. I mean, when the Eagles are looking at you got to keep up with the Eagles.
That's right.
You have to. When Joni Mitchell is over there writing bangers, you have to keep up with Joni Mitchell.
Yep.
Regardless if you like her politics. And like I said, we talked about it a little bit backstage, but the setting this scene up is a lot of people would use their art to make political statements through their art. That's how they did it back then. Yeah, there'd be hippie rallies, and yes, there's Woodstock and everything else, which is a political thing, but they would use their art. I don't feel that people use their art anymore to make a political statement. All they do is either jam it down your throat, or they get on TikTok and
yeah, I mean what they used to condense into a 3-minute song. Now it's 24/7 on Twitter. They can just spew out the stuff.
Bullshit.
Nonstop. Yeah.
Even if they're dead wrong and they're absolutely fucking wrong, you still have to watch somebody just being dead wrong. So it's definitely different, and I don't like how it's different that way.
Me neither.
Where people can just sit there and fucking lie to your face, and then when you call bullshit, it's like, well, you're a racist and you're a blah 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 blah, and it's like, get the fuck out of here, like shut up.
Yep.
Like you're a useful idiot is what I like to call people. Like you literally are an NPC bot just doing whatever is told of you, and there's nothing behind it.
They're wind-up toys.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that kind of gives you context and stuff. And I've actually been here, and it was really cool. Just
looks cool.
Just bringing in the vibes. It's so cool.
Known as Love Street. And Jim Morrison actually wrote about this intersection here between the store and the house right here on Rothdale Trail. Now, this house is known as the Jim Morrison house, and it's where Jim lived with girlfriend Pamela Corson. Waiting for the Sun was the Doors' third album, and a good portion of it was at least lyrically written right here. His time here was probably the most domesticated and tranquil part of his life, but that didn't stop him from singing at all hours of the night at the top of his lungs and setting his girlfriend Pamela's closet on fire in a jealous rage. There are several plaques and signs nearby to commemorate it, which is strange considering I think the local
and you know the song, right? Love Street by the Doors?
No, I don't.
Oh, you don't know that? Oh yeah. There's a part where the creatures meet, and he's talking about the store, and he lived right there.
I will check it out after the show. I'm not a Doors aficionado, but
oh man, there's probably about 10 songs I love by the Doors. But it's crazy to know that Jim Morrison literally lived right there, and he was talking about the store and how the creatures meet.
That's cool.
But he used what his environment was to create his art. You know what I mean? He wrote about what he knew, not perceived what he knew, or his opinion based off of being influenced by whatever the people are influenced now. You know what I mean? He saw I think there's a bunch of weirdos that hang out at that store, so he called them the creatures, where the creatures meet. You know what I mean?
It's pretty clever.
constabulary at the time did everything in their power to make Morrison and his long-haired hippie cohorts go away. So in 2011, the original house was burned. There was a fire here set by an arsonist, and it's been rebuilt. It doesn't look exactly the same as it did, but it's probably the most popular tourist destination, rock and roll tourist destination here in Los Angeles. But just because it's touristy doesn't mean it's not great. Anyway, Jim Morrison Love House right here at the country store. So off Laurel Canyon Boulevard and up Kirkwood, up Rid Path, right on Weepaw Way, and we come to one of the steepest streets in Laurel Canyon, Utica. This house on Utica was once owned by Hollywood astrologer to the stars, Keo, but in his Buffalo Springfield days, it's where Neil Young called home, and his place was up above the main house in a small shack called, you guessed it, the Shack. But there is another way to see it, and it involves a little more legwork, so let's check it out. On the left or right?
Here's how a doctor treats toenail fungus without a prescription.
They were really like the protesters. Even nowadays, you see, protesters, older ones, usually white women, out there singing like they're in the 60s.
Oh,
We
yeah.
shall overcome. I'm like, cut it out.
They're wannabe 60s or
Yeah.
they're wannabe hippies.
Yeah.
That's what
Yep.
they are. That's what they're doing. And the
Mhm.
people in Congress, all they do is just try to get those people to be encouraged to protest or be fucking hippies. What happened to the hippies? Oh yeah, that's right. They were taken over by fucking druggies and murderers. Oh yeah, that's right.
Right.
There's a whole thing. Oh, because it was a very popular thing back then until the Manson murders happened, and then all of a sudden the shit got shut down.
It was
And,
that was a big thing, and there was a rock festival called Altamont, where the Hells Angels were the security for the Rolling Stones, and they wound up killing people.
Oh wow.
So that
So,
was like
yeah.
kind of the death of the peace and love era of the hippies.
So
'Cause it
yeah,
turned out it wound up being just a bunch of drug addicts that were just as violent as everybody else.
yeah. So we're gonna get into that because I'd sent you a list of some of the ideas I had as far
Mhm.
as we're gonna do a music episode, which I want to do. I'm gonna do a little bit more of a deep dive with you and your music and what got you into music. So with the
Okay.
music thing, I'd love to do a show about that, and then we can talk about that and how music influences people, and then how music is used in movies, and television shows and stuff like that. So it all kind of encompasses all the same thing. You know what I mean?
Right there with the white windows right there.
That's the house right there.
That's the house.
All right, so now we're up at the top of Utica, Neil Young's place down
Yes,
there. And why don't you point out for us where it is?
it's right over there. The one with the white windows.
The one with the white
And has a little bit of a balcony, a deck with a chair on it.
Basically
And
right here.
Utica's right underneath us, so there's like tons
Right
and
in the
tons of
middle there.
steps up there, right?
Pretty wild.
Correct.
A lot of
By the way, this is Randy, my good Laurel Canyon friend who knows where everything is here. So, but that's where his shack was.
Yeah.
And that's where he wrote many of his first early Buffalo Springfield songs. According to him, he always used a felt tip pen, and he wrote it on old newspapers because to get paper, it was too much of a hassle to go. Also, he had to get rid of his beloved Pontiac hearse because it wouldn't make it up these steep canyon hills. And I think he ended up getting a Corvette or something. So
I got a Neil Young story, and
All right.
I never got to meet him because I was outside just making sure that people weren't like random people weren't walking in. I worked I want to say 3 or 4 days. I worked on The Voice, and I worked at the hotel where the contestants were staying, and then if they got eliminated, then they would leave. So I would make sure that they got in their car and they left, and make sure that just random people weren't just milling around trying to
Mhm.
figure out what was going on, because
Yep.
they're always secretive on that stuff because they don't want to give away the show, or they don't want to give away spoilers or anything like that.
Mhm.
And like side note is I saw Ed Asner standing in the parking lot. I damn near lost my fucking mind.
That's a random encounter.
And Dick Van Dyke walked right up to me and was asking for directions. I was just like, "Oh no, I'm not sure. I think it's over here, sir." And I was just like, "Oh my fucking god, this is Dick Van Dyke. Are you kidding me?"
Right?
So, but I tried to keep it professional. I tried to keep it 100, even though I'm just fanboying inside. Like,
Yeah.
and I guess it was they were part of some sort of group where it was like a old TV legends group or something. It might have been like I don't know. It was just a kind of a get together that they did or something like that. And Ed Asner was there. Dick Van Dyke was there.
That's wild.
Yeah. So anyway, so same day is, I guess there was a couple, there were the contestants for The Voice that were inside of the hotel, and they took over like a couple of the floors and just put the hotel or the contestants in there. And I guess a couple of them got together and they were just jamming and just messing around. And an older guy kind of walked in and said, "Hey, you mind if I start jamming with you?" And he started jamming with a couple of contestants because he heard he heard the music. So he's in there jamming with them. And a PA come in there. It's like, "Sir, you can't be in here. They're contestants of a show, and you can't be in." It was Neil Young. Neil Young literally walked in and started jamming with these kids. Who knows if those young guys knew who it was?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Nope.
But yeah, they literally told Neil Young, like, "Yo, bro, you can't be in here." Are you fucking kidding me? Neil Young can do what the fuck he wants.
Right. Like, who's this old hippie? Get him out of here.
Yeah, so I was out in the parking lot during that time, and one of the other guys had told me that. I'm like, "Are you serious? Like, how are you gonna tell Neil Young get the fuck out of here?" Like, what the fuck? Anyway,
Neil Young's another one of those outspoken political guys. Also.
Oh yeah, he absolutely is. But I'm just saying, is jamming with Neil Young, and you're just like, "Okay, sir, you can't be in here." Scorpio, my wife and I used to watch The Voice a few years ago when it came out. Yeah, The Voice was good back in the day. And some of those shows are beneficial to people that are in the music industry, but it's very politically correct. So you better have the right mindset in their opinion. Otherwise, they're not going to show you the time of day.
Plus, I think they're looking more for a brand than they are for talent. Like,
yes,
you know what I mean. They're looking for stars, not musicians.
Well, I mean, American Idol, when Carrie Underwood was on there, they're just like, "Well, I don't know if I can market a country person. So, do you have any other things that you can do?" And then they had her singing all these other songs and everything that weren't like country. They were different type of songs. And then when she got out of American Idol, what'd she do? Went right back into country.
That was huge.
And it was fucking huge. So obviously she knew what her talent was.
Yeah.
And she didn't win American Idol. And they told her to basically like, "Well, I don't know if we can market American Idol or country music." And it's like, get out of here. Like, just because you're in a position of power doesn't necessarily mean that you're right all the time. You know what I mean? Because there's so many scripts in Hollywood that people pass, and then they become a fucking hit. It happens all the time.
It happens in movies. It happens in music. Look at the Beatles got turned down by a couple of record companies. Well,
could you imagine?
They felt dumb.
Yeah, could you imagine? Like, oh, these guys with the fucking the cereal bowl haircuts, they're not going to do anything, and then all of a sudden.
One of the quotes from the record executive that turned them down was that he said, "Guitar music is over. It's run its course." And I'm like, oh boy.
Oh, I wonder if that guy's jobless. I wonder if that guy lost his job. So you being a music guy, if somebody brought and you got into a position where you were at a label and you're actually making some decisions on music, and somebody that you hire made a bad decision on an artist that blew up, would you be pissed? Would you hold that person accountable and be like,
if it were the Beatles, you can't strike out on that. But I mean, other than that, not really. Probably not.
You wouldn't.
I mean, the Beatles might have had they might have had a bad day when they came in to rehearse, or what do you call it? Audition, right? So
yeah,
I don't know. I mean, they make plus as an executive, like I'm not in the record business, but it's a business, so they have to not only, like I was saying with The Voice, it's like, well, they can sing, but will she or he make us any money? Is really the end question.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I mean, it's got to make money for sure. But who's the arbiter of that? Like I said, there are a lot of people that
People with the money.
yeah.
That's-
Well, they
that's who
think
decides.
they know, and then they drop the ball.
Yep. Like you said, Carrie Underwood dropped
Yeah.
the ball bigly as the
Yeah,
president.
they wanted
said
to
on that
do
one.
rock, and they wanted to do all this other shit, and then she was a country person all the way.
Yeah.
So okay, let's get back to Tim.
Probably a little more popular with the ladies that way. Again, this is Utica Drive, and it's the Neil Young house. All right. Downtown. So now we're in the Kirkwood Bowl section of Laurel Canyon, and we're about as high up as you can get. And I've been down this little 2-lane road many times because there's a house here that pops up again and again and again. Okay, so back in 65, 66, this was the home of Byrds lead guitarist and singer Roger McGuinn. And the back porch here was the backdrop of some pretty famous photographs. Fast forward to 1972, and it was the rental to Don Henley of the Eagles. And Don Henley remembers the house as being so rickety that the floors were all slanted and it would sway noticeably when the wind kicked up. And as a matter of fact, Roger McGuinn remembers exactly the same thing. So the house came with a dusty old out-of-tune piano. And one day, not long after returning to LA from London, where they had just recorded their Eagles debut album, Don Henley and Glenn Frey used that old piano to finish the song Desperado right here. And I believe they also wrote Tequila Sunrise that day here also. But there was one more famous musician that...
See, that stuff right there just blows my mind.
Yeah. I mean,
Desperado was literally written in that house right there.
that's cool. Yep. They were
That's
on a roll.
wild. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
also rented the place, and he, like the Eagles and the Byrds, had an avian theme to his band's name, and it was David Cassidy of the Partridge Family who rented here for a short while too. And there's a very interesting story about it. Years later, when one of the owners was painting the bathroom, they found jammed between the commode and the bathroom wall a prescription Quaalude bottle, and of course the name on it was David Cassidy. Anyways, right here, Coldcrest Drive.
This is awesome.
That house was wild. It was like just leaning over this giant.
Yeah, it was like the Leaning
drop.
Tower of Pisa houses.
It's amazing people didn't fall off of it. I mean,
Yeah.
for as drunked up and drugged up as they all were.
Obviously, they're not very good houses because back then they didn't have the type of money deals that they do now.
Mhm.
So a lot of them would all shack up with each other, or you'd have like 5 people living in a house that's like a 2-bedroom or 1-bedroom and shit.
Tons
that
of
was a whole-
stories like
Yeah,
that from
that's
back
a
in the day.
common theme throughout these videos and stuff. But
Mhm.
it's still freaking cool that Desperado was literally written in that freaking house right there.
Yep.
Arguably one of the greatest rock and roll songs of all fucking time.
It's a good song.
Desperado by the Eagles.
Mhm.
The next couple stops here are both in Laurel Canyon, and I think they're both arguably the settings for the birth of some of rock and roll's most important music. First is this beautiful home on Lookout Mountain Avenue that was once Joni Mitchell's. She bought it in 1968 with royalties she had earned on her album Song to a Seagull. And I think it says a lot about Joni buying it with the first real money she ever had. And it quickly became a hub of Laurel Canyon, people talking shop, people jamming here, people partying here. And Joni wrote her albums Blue and Ladies of the Canyon here, but I think the most storied episode that occurred in this house was when Graham Nash, David Crosby, and Stephen Stills first got together and sang. Now, I know this is a hotly debated story, but more on that in a bit. As the story goes, Stephen Stills and David Crosby were singing their song, You Don't Have to Cry, for Joni and Graham Nash. And Graham asked them to sing it for them 3 more times before he unexpectedly joined in with his harmony. The sound caught everybody by surprise. It was something they had never even remotely heard before. Joni and Graham eventually became a couple, and this house actually spawned the song Our House. So the post...
And both of those bands are very political. Very.
Oh,
Joni Mitchell was spewing music when about the politics during the time. But again, they were using their art to spew that. They weren't going on some sort of article in the New York Times screaming and crying and all this other shit. They used their art to do it. I think that's the biggest difference between then versus now.
Here's a question for you. First, they even got Crosby, Stills, and Nash even got more political when Neil Young joined. Then they got super political. But
yeah,
question: there wasn't social media back then. It wasn't 24/7 coverage. If there was, do you think they would act like the celebrities now do?
I don't think so. I think it was a different time. I think it was more about the storytelling than it is now. Because in my opinion, now the music is just cookie cutter, the same shit.
Yep.
Back then, it was like Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and then later Young created a sound that nobody had ever fucking heard of before. We talked about this before about Star Wars and all this other stuff, where it's like a lot of this stuff was new. Nobody had ever heard that type of sound before.
For them, it was the harmonies. When you can sing like that with 3 or 4 people all in with harmonies like the Beatles did, it's going to sound good. You can play 2 chords.
Yeah.
If you can sing like that over top of it, you're golden. And they had
music has a very influential side to it. Is you can influence people and you can influence people's mood. Like I'm one of the first ones that if I'm in a bad mood and I play a song, it immediately puts me in a better mood. Immediately.
I was going to ask you about what your thoughts are. I think music influences young people more than film. Don't you? Wouldn't you think so?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because a lot of time, I think it's because it's more available, like in your car, and then maybe during a time in somebody's life they hear a song that's important to them during that particular time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
yep. There's bands like for me, it's Rush. I've seen Rush 13 times. I've listened to them since I can remember. I mean, I learned playing guitar, laying on a bed, listening to their records, trying to mime it. And you're right. It's like it forms a soundtrack to your life.
Yeah.
Rush has been with me, 2 wives, kids, friends that are not around anymore. They're a constant. Whereas film, I don't think, you don't watch a movie over and over and over and over again throughout your life.
I mean, there's some movies I do like watching.
Okay. Yeah.
But it's not readily available. You're not going to go to your car and watch a movie as you're driving.
Yep.
Maybe kids in the background, you know what I mean? But in the back seat or something.
With music, if you want to learn you just need a guitar. To make a movie, you need cameras, actors. You can't just go, I'm going to go make a movie.
It's more organized and it's more deliberate.
But anybody could write a song if they have musical talent. You just need a guitar.
It's true. It out. So, but yeah, so this definitely goes with the theme of Hollywood is burning, because it was a different time, yes, but they expressed themselves differently then than they do now. Mm-hmm. So that's sort of the point that we're trying to make. If anybody's saying, hey, they're not talking about Hollywood burning. Well, it kind of does, because these people influence people's childhood, which are the same people that are protesting now.
Mm-hmm.
The people that were sitting over here in downtown Monticello with signs, who are all over 60, were listening to these people.
I blame them for all this. Damn hippies. Dirty damn hippies.
So it all comes in full circle, people.
I'm joking, but I'm kind of not joking-ish.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. But it all comes full circle as the assholes that were sitting over here in my little downtown were listening to these type of songs back then.
Yep.
And the politicians are literally saying, oh, we're all hippie and love child now. It's like, get out of here.
Yep. Didn't work then. Won't work now.
Joni never did sell the house. She did move, but she still rents it out. Anyways, Joni Mitchell, Lookout Mountain House.
So getting back to that hotly debated story about where Crosby, Stills, and Nash first played the first time, Crosby and Nash claim that it was in Joni Mitchell's kitchen, but Stephen Stills flatly denies it. He said he would never play in front of Joni Mitchell. It was someone that intimidated him with her talent. He claims that it happened right here. This is Cass Elliott's house. Mama Cass Elliott was famous for hosting rock and roll parties that would go on for days. And this house has probably the longest and most impressive lineage than any other in Laurel Canyon. Built in the 50s by young up-and-coming actress Natalie Wood, she would often host parties with guests like James Dean, Dennis Hopper, and of course her future husband, Robert Wagner.
Mhm.
Cass Elliott bought it in the
Yeah.
60s, and she became the matriarch of the Laurel Canyon counterculture scene. And it was an open door for musicians and artists to hang out, jam, and party. Clapton, Hendrix, you name it, when they were in town, they were here. After Cass, Harry Nilsson owned it for a short time and eventually leased it to Ringo Starr. But in 1974, a tragic fire occurred and took with it much of his Beatles memorabilia. Dan Aykroyd and wife Donna Dixon owned it for years and then sold it to actress Beverly D'Angelo. Both claimed the house was completely haunted by a benevolent ghost, whom both were convinced was Mama Cass. And we've done a longer form vid on that one too, but more on that later.
Ooh, I want a
The
sandwich.
Mama Cass,
Ooh.
famous Woodrow Wilson Laurel Canyon house.
And there's another video that talks about it where Beverly D'Angelo's like, it was a very large person. It was a very large ghost.
Mama Cass, clearly.
'Cause Mama Cass was a large lady.
Yep.
Very large.
Didn't she die choking on a chicken bone or something?
No, that was all bullshit. There's
was?
all kinds of video. Yeah, that was a thing that they made fun of her because of her weight. So they were saying that she died on a chicken bone. Like her heart stopped. She was on tour, I think in England or something, and she died in a hotel. But yeah, the choked on a chicken bone thing is all just people talking shit.
I'm gonna stick with it though. It's more entertaining.
That's what-
Don't let the truth get in the way of a good story.
We usually on the opposite side of that, but okay, we'll go with it.
For today.
And Dan Aykroyd was one of the ones that lived in this house, said it was haunted, and
Mhm.
he got the inspiration for Ghostbusters when he lived in that house.
No shit.
Yeah.
This Japanese trick with orange.
Yeah, okay.
So it was they were almost politically, it was like a little echo chamber with all the hippies hanging out in one house. Probably
Musically, yeah.
Well, I mean, even politically, like I'm sure they didn't just play music 24/7. They were probably having chats about the world and
Yeah.
they were all
Playing cards, drinking
20,
beer,
21, young,
listening to music,
naive.
maybe. Yeah.
And their message that I'm sure was bounced around these houses a lot started spreading out to the people. And you got a whole movement that people are still trying to emulate to this day.
Yes. And other hippie cultures and other hippie groups were also trying to be part of this scene because of the amount of talent that it produced.
Yeah.
People saw that, yes, the hippie lifestyle was prevalent during this time in this area, but they were a machine of just making freaking bangers of songs.
Yeah, but any musician, one of the secrets of being a popular musician is you want people to want to be like you. Like if you're in a band, you present yourself as cool, like a gang, that all the dudes in the audience would want to be a part of your gang to make you look cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I guess people who listen to this music, they're like, I want to be like them. They're cool. Not only I don't have the musical talent, so I'll just think like they do.
True. And this is going to get into some other topics that we deal with in different shows, and we're going to do a Manson show. And Charles Manson was around during this time, and he was hanging around these folks. So for people, and I had a disagreement with Jim a couple weeks ago when he started talking about it, and it's like, the thing is that Manson was a plant for the government and trying to basically kind of entrap people. He was using psychedelics to get things out of people. And he was using the MK Ultra stuff. And I don't think so. And we're going to touch on that on a different video, but Manson was in this scene.
Quick little note on that, kind of interesting. So I was at my son's house yesterday watching you know what the UFL is? It's like the spring football league. So we were watching the championships, which DC won, beat Michigan. So tradition. But I was talking to him like, yeah, I think my buddy wants to do a show on Manson. He had a book on Manson and the CIA and all that shit you're talking about. So he lent it to me. So I'm going to read up a little bit on it.
So yeah, there's a lot, dude, there's so much stuff to deep dive. That might be a 5-hour show.
Especially if we get Jim on.
I'm trying to reach out to Jim. I don't know if Jim necessarily cares for me, but we'll see. We'll see. Because he's gonna have a different perspective. I know he is. He's not gonna take what I show him at face value, which is good, which is gonna be good content because he's not gonna agree with everything. You know what I mean?
I'm gonna go out and get a referee shirt from Foot Locker. And I'll just be the third.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
Let's go.
Canyon is probably one of the most world-renowned music places in the world. But whenever I casually mention it to somebody, their usual response is, isn't that where the murders occurred? And the murders, of course, were the Wonderland murders or the Four on the Floor murders. And they occurred on July 1st, 1981 at this rather indistinct house right here on Wonderland Avenue. So the house here was an infamous drug lair and a neighborhood shooting gallery. And there were a lot of high-profile clients, including Chuck Negron from Three Dog Night, who used to visit here almost on a nightly basis. And it was just dumb luck or fate that he wasn't.
And we can do a show on that too, bro. Look up Wonderland House on YouTube, and there are videos that's got the inside of the house with dead bodies like all over the place on YouTube.
Yike.
How that's not been struck, I have no idea. But it was basically a drug house. There was a very famous porn star that lived there, a male porn star. And the theory is he owed people a lot of money and they come and fucked him up and killed him and everything else. But that was in 1981. I briefly remember that, but I was so small, I didn't really understand, you know?
Present when the murders took place. Porn star John Holmes was also a regular and had visited the house several times on the night of the murder and was actually put on trial but acquitted after 3 weeks, and the murders remain unsolved to this day. So interesting little factoid. Before this all happened, this house had been rented by Mark Lindsay, who was lead singer of Paul Revere and the Raiders. And years before that, he had rented a house a couple canyons down in Benedict Canyon on a street called Cielo Drive. And after he left there, it was rented to Roman Polanski and Sharon Tate. And we all know what happened there. So the moral of the story is, whatever you do not rent to Mark Lindsay.
Could you imagine that? 2 different places that you live, fucking murders happen. That's messed up. Holy crap.
I'm kind of excited to show you this one because it's probably the most out-of-the-way location we've been to. So we're at the very top of Laurel Canyon where it butts up against Beverly Hills. And this once spectacular 7-acre hillside estate used to belong to Laurel Canyon's most unlikely resident, Glenn Campbell. This place is now completely abandoned, and I don't think it's been lived in for a number of years.
Wow.
But I did a little checking, and Zillow says it's still worth about $17 million.
Only.
Glenn and his wife, Billie Jean, and their 3 kids had been living in this house in the 60s and 70s. And it was during the time he was busy with this Glenn Campbell Good Time Hour TV show. But with Glenn's steady descent into alcohol and cocaine addiction, their marriage soon ended. And ironically, it happened after a heated argument where Glenn had played Billie Jean his demo of Rhinestone Cowboy, and she dismissed it as just a dumb old cowboy song. Long story short is Billie Jean kept...
Could you imagine that?
I'm sorry, bitch. What? Oh,
So the
Oh.
person that you're dating or married to basically calls your song a piece of shit that becomes like an iconic song.
what a terrible girlfriend. You're not supposed to voice your actual opinion. You're supposed to, oh, that's nice, honey. You sound good.
Either be supportive or don't say nothing at all. Don't call it a piece of shit, basically.
God damn. Rhinestone Cowboy. That was huge, that song.
Yes,
The
it was.
massive hit.
You
The
can go to
broad.
bars now and still hear it playing.
Yep.
the house and kids, and Glenn got the blow and Tanya Tucker. Anyways, the Laurel Canyon, Glenn Campbell Estate.
That's a dream job of mine, Derek. You know, whenever you see these documentaries where they don't have the license for the actual music, so they make kind of like fake hippie music.
Yeah.
Like that sounds. I'd love that job. Write us
And I
some like
think the song-
'60s sounding stuff.
Yeah, and the songs that he uses is the same song. So I'm assuming that either he had somebody make it for him or it's just a YouTube approved song because he uses the same song a lot. But I like Tim because he makes you feel like you're right there during
Yeah, it
that
was good.
time. You know what I mean? So it's got a little bit more. And like I said, the other videos I have are real short. So this one's going to take the most time. So I was like, well, we'll start with it first. Plus,
Okay.
it gives it kind of puts you in the area and their political beliefs and what the scene looked like, and you know how it differs from what the political landscape is now versus then. So that's what I was like. That was what kind of the reasoning behind the video.
Was there ever a scene like that for movie makers and filmmakers where they?
Not
I
really.
don't think so. No.
I
Seems
don't
like
think so.
all the actors and filmmakers wanted to hang out with the musicians. Seems like.
Yeah.
Probably because they had all the drugs. So
Yeah. I mean, Belushi was hanging out with the rock stars because of it. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff.
if you think you have something up, you don't. There's nothing on screen.
In the comes up in Laurel Canyon on the Studio City or Valley side. And if you've watched any of our previous vids, you've seen us visit this house several
Speaking of
times.
the monkeys.
One of the houses that comes up again and again. Everyone from Jimi Hendrix to the Rolling Stones have stayed here and partied here. And it's up this super long driveway right here. The house actually had an inauspicious beginning, but not one without notoriety. In the 40s and 50s, it belonged to a composer, Carmen, and his wife, Eloise Dragon, who raised their 5 kids here, one of whom was named Daryl.
Daryl Dragon.
Captain, Captain, and along with Tony Tenio would give the world Muskrat love. Want to thank him for that. It was later owned by actor Wally Cox, whose best friend was Marlon Brando, and I would imagine that they must have hung out here a lot. And I think they were kind of the original Hollywood odd couple. But in the mid-'60s, it was bought by Monkey Peter Tork, and it really became known as his house. And it was notorious for all the parties that they had up here. And Peter Tork was a nudist, an avowed nudist, and they had a great pool up here. And all the parties were definitely clothing optional. The house had a large rehearsal studio located in the pool cabana, and there were jams with members of the Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, Pete Townsend, and I think most famously of all, the Rolling Stones used it as their home base during the rehearsals for their '69 American tour, the one that included the absolute shit show concert of all time, Altamont. And by the way, there's also a great view of it.
How awesome would that be? Go to a house and you just to go and jam and hang out, and the fucking Rolling Stones pull up. Are you
Right,
fucking
just
kidding me right now?
Smoking a cigarette, having a drink with your buds. Somebody knocks on the door. Oh, it's Keith Richards.
It's
Let him
Keith
in real
Richards,
quick.
Mick Jagger. What's up? What's up, buds? What the fuck?
From up on the Will Acre Park Trail here above it.
Which would never happen again, ever, because people are so afraid of talking to their neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
You
That's
know
true.
what I mean?
Yep.
Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young played together as a band for the first time ever here. and painstakingly rehearsed and prepared for their Woodstock appearance in August of '69, and on and on. Stephen Stills eventually bought it from Peter Tork, and I don't think there was anyone of the Laurel Canyon scene of the late 60s and early 70s that didn't spend significant time here. Anyways, the Peter Tork Shady Oak House. So this is smack dab in the very heart of Laurel Canyon on the corner of Laurel Canyon Boulevard and Lookout Mountain Avenue. And I'd have to say that the most famous of all the locations featured in this vid is right here. This is or was the site of the Frank Zappa log cabin. You know, the funny thing is Frank Zappa only lived here for a short time in 1968, but virtually everybody in rock and roll that was around at the time has a story about it. So let's check it out.
3 shocking reasons why butter.
All these freaking commercials are driving me nuts. I've had like 10 different commercials for a 14-minute video.
Yep, they really pack them in. That is true.
So what do you think so far? I mean, do you think it paints a picture of what the scene looked like? And again, the political scene where they were all friends. They all influenced each other in their music.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I don't think anything like that will ever happen again because people are so afraid of their fucking shadow now. And I think that they're afraid of their shadow because of what happened at the end of this movement with the Manson family. Because as soon as the Manson family stuff happened, people found out that they were doing they were stealing cars. They were walking in people's houses and moving furniture around and stuff like that. People started losing their fucking mind, which influenced the entire fucking country. And I think that's why now people are so afraid of their fucking shadow.
That's possible. I mean, it was kind of a hug box, like everybody agreeing with each other. And really, the hippie movement in the end turned out it was just a bunch of degenerate drug addicts who happened to play guitar and sing. So it ended the way you figure it would end. When you have a bunch of irresponsible people trying to start some sort of movement.
Yeah, but there was some fantastic music that was.
Oh yeah,
no doubt about it.
You share the screen, Derek?
Hang on, I keep forgetting to do that. Because I keep having to basically mess with it because of freaking
and it became home to the particularly cared for the whole hippie movement as a whole. As a matter of fact, it's rumored that Frank once kicked out Mick Jagger and Marianne Faithfull for being too inebriated. He was a workaholic.
Oh, wow.
And rarely had time to party with his guests. The house was originally built in 1913 when it served as the Laurel Tavern, and it became home to the cowboy star of the day, Tom Mix, who would throw legendary parties with real Western stars, including Wyatt Earp. And I mean the real Wyatt Earp. But by 1968, the house was destination number 1 for any touring rock stars and their entourages. And the most famous of, for lack of a better word, groupies, were a ragtag, sometimes band called the GTOs, or Girls Together Outrageously, who included members such as Pamela DeBar, and more or less lived here and were the reason for the never-ending party. But Zappa's stay here lasted less than 6 months, and I think the legend actually looms larger than what actually happened here. On Halloween night 1981, a fire broke out and burned the log cabin to the ground, and it's laid fallow like this since. It was purchased last year by the Laurel Canyon Conservancy and will be opened as a park sometimes in the next few months, which I think is great. We're at the top right now, and I think this used to be called the Grotto. These are caves. There's a lot of caves in the hillside here. There's actually tunnels that go under Laurel Canyon Boulevard to the Harry Houdini estate on the other side. It's a pretty cool place. This is the Frank Zappa log cabin. And just a heads up, we featured all these locations in previous vids, and I put together a link down below. If you want to click it, you should be able to see them in full. Rock Anyways, for Tim, I'd like to thank you again.
But yeah, but it definitely gives you a feel. And there's so many videos on it, different Laurel Canyon stuff, and the Doors, and Joni Mitchell, and the Eagles, and all kinds of stuff. But I wanted to pick one where it kind of puts you like right into the thick of things.
I definitely did that. I mean, not a fan of the hippie movement, not a fan of the whole leftist movement, but if I lived there back then, well, I'd be hanging out at those parties all day. Sounds like a good time.
Now, do you think? Yes, they were on the left, but do you think that it was more about the music and about the drugs than it was about the politics, even though they gave their opinion in their art?
I think it was mostly about the drugs, with music as a close second, and then politics just something. Maybe one or two of the artists started doing political stuff.
Yeah.
And then everybody else sort of aped them. Like, oh gosh, that sounds good. I want to do that too. And then everybody kind of piled on.
Because there was a lot of anti-war music that came out during this time.
Which is understandable.
And
sitar,
what was going
on.
A lot of sitar stuff that was anti-war. And like I said, they gave their politics through their art. You didn't necessarily see Joni Mitchell like on Channel 7 News saying all this stuff. Because really, she was just doing her thing. And then obviously her art had her politics in it.
I think if they had access to media that stars have now, my gut feeling, at least some of them would have been the same as the people are now. Be online all the time, spouting their opinions. They just didn't have access to it. Plus, they were too busy having giant parties and getting laid and doing drugs.
I mean, that's facts.
Yeah.
That's true.
Not posted on Twitter. I'm banging Tanya Tucker. I ain't got time for that.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up this.
Like, I wonder, while you're pulling it up, it's interesting to think, like, this is kind of like a music thing, this community. Like you were saying, there's not really an equivalent in film.
Not really.
I don't know if there's one in art, like, painting. I don't think so. It's just like, and I think it's because deep down, musicians, and I'm not saying this because I'm a musician. I'm not cool. I'm too old, but they're the coolest out of all art, movie producers.
Yeah,
actors.
people want to hang out with the rock star.
Rock stars are the coolest. Yeah, so they're
So kind of just super warping us through from the 60s and early 70s to the 80s, which was hair metal and experimental. There's a lot of experimental type of sounds and music. And then the 90s was going into like grunge and some of this pop rock stuff that started happening up in the late 90s. Mm-hmm. And in the middle there was a lot of dance stuff. We watched a video the other day where it had a lot of weird dance stuff in like 1997. It was weird. Dave was so pissed at it. It's like, because there was a transition happening between the type of music that was popular.
Mm-hmm. But that happens. There's the new generation comes along. They're tired of their dad's music, so they come up with their own scene. And then they get older, and that dies out. And the new gen, it's a never-ending cycle. At least used to be. Now I don't think music's changed that much for the past decade or so.
It's in my opinion, a lot of it's garbage.
Shitty hip hop and
mainstream stuff is garbage.
Yeah.
All sounds the same. It's there's no passion into it. It's just like, how much money can I make? Period.
There's no artistry in it anymore.
No, it's just how much money I make. If there's not money in there for me, then fuck you. I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It's lazy.
I think it's lazy. I think it's money driven, and that's it. So
that's an interesting point Scorpio brings up. He said music is more of a team sport than the other arts. Like when you directing a movie, you're like the dictator pretty much in the end, right?
Basically. Yeah, I'm the one that creatively put everything together. I'm the one that chose the locations. I'm the one that chose the art department. I'm the one that chose the wardrobes. I did all of it so that when it's time to hire people, they play in my sandbox, basically. Mm-hmm. So with music, is I can just make them riff, and then somebody can come in and participate during that riff.
Yeah, it's more of a, like Scorpio says, it's a good point. It is when you write a song, create it, it's like a more of a collaborative effort throughout the whole process.
Yeah.
which maybe lends to what we just watched, where all the musicians were kind of hanging out together all the time. Maybe
True.
copping riffs from each other, getting ideas. I'm sure there was some jealousy, some envy involved.
Everybody's sleeping with each other and
Yeah,
the whole thing.
Wow, that sounds great.
So so 2000s, there was still pop rock stuff, early 2000s. And then where do you think that things changed? Like, what point do you think everything started getting political as far as online, and it didn't, the artistry of it was gone? Because early 2000s and then even the early 2010s, I thought there was still artistry. I thought there was still good stuff out there.
I think it was the rise of social media. I know it's an easy answer, but it gave all these people an easy outlet to voice what sometimes I question is their genuine opinion, but to extend their brand, which is what I think all of these political yappers, these stars, they're just extending their brand to their fan base. Try to, I'm like you. I get it. Fight the power and all that shit.
But is that going to attract more new people, or is it just talking heads of the same people that are going to support them anyway? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I think, it's like an echo chamber. I guess for some reason, people want the artists that they support to think the same way as they do, which to me is bizarre.
It is bizarre.
Like, I'm always like, even like whether it's, movies, music, comics, take comics. If the book's good and the art's good and the story's good, I really don't give a fuck who wrote it. I'm not their pal. I just bought their product. That's the end of it.
Yeah, it's the product, it's the art, it's the entertainment value that you're seeking. You're not seeking what fucking EVS thinks or whoever, what they think politically. You only care about what the contents of the story is, and does it entertain, or can you look into it and say, hey, can I relate to it in some way?
Yeah,
That's how people figure it out,
As somewhat of a right-leaning person, imagine the music I would have missed out on if I didn't listen to bands that didn't agree with me politically. It's like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's stupid.
Absolutely. And
I'm not hanging out with the guy.
Yeah.
I'm just listening to his music. That's all I care about.
But back then, when they were saying all the anti-war stuff and all the political stuff back then in the 60s, they were still listening to people's perspective.
I think there was more decorum back then. And I think that was a product of their upbringing, because they were raised by parents in the 50s.
Yeah, and not a lot of them were actually from LA. They're all transplants going to LA.
That was a place to go. That San Francisco and London back in the late 60s. That was where it was happening, so to speak.
Yeah.
So anybody who wanted to be anybody would flock there and try to glom onto somebody or get noticed. Kind of like, I guess, actors moved to LA, right? Same thing. Because that's where it's at.
Well, it used to be. It's not like that anymore. Because back then it's where, when they shot film, that's where the film processing places were. That's where Kodak was. If you wanted exclusive wardrobe that were for a certain time period, or film sets, you had to go LA, because that's the place that has that stuff.
All right,
you have to go where it's being created and where it's available to you. It's not like that anymore. You don't have to be in LA to make movies anymore.
So was it the chicken or the egg that's a good point. Why did Hollywood and LA become the center of everything?
Well, it used to be Chicago. Chicago used to be LA back in the day. That's why the Rat Pack was so popular, and they were in Chicago. They're based in Chicago. And they figured out that LA or California was a better place because they didn't have to worry about shutting down the scene for 4 or 5 months because of snow. So they found a place where they could go and we could roll 24/7, 365 days a year and not have to worry about it, because Southern California is 80 degrees and sunny just about every day.
Right.
Yeah, there's fires and there's parts where it's a little rainy here and there, but for the most part, most days are 80 degrees and sunny.
I can't believe I didn't think of that as the reason, but that makes complete practical sense.
Yes. So then that's why they started making the film processing places and the studios and the audio, the audio remixing of this of the films, and the music people started showing up to LA because they wanted to try to score somebody's movie. So like it was all relative because of California had you know, you didn't have to stop production. You could just keep going 24/7. You know what I mean? So it was more of a convenience and more out of saving money in the long run because they didn't have to shut the production down for 5 months because the snow was a foot tall. You know what I mean?
So since we're talking about the political opinions and artists and their willingness or nonstop seemingly addiction to expressing them anywhere in any place they can, where they didn't have those outlets back in the 60s, they do now.
Yeah.
And take that into account with seemingly the death of Hollywood lately. Do you think those two things are like is cause and effect? Do you think it's that these stars are so annoying and they're jamming all their politics that people are just done with it? Or do you think it's because there's so many other outlets to get content from?
I think it's both, honestly. I think both things can be true. And then people don't appreciate stuff. Okay? Like we just watched that video where Desperado was literally written in that fucking house. As an artist, as a person that loves music, the person that likes the Eagles and loves that song, I appreciate that stuff. It makes it puts a smile on my face. Like fuck yeah, like that was a great house that created a great freaking song.
Yeah,
most people don't give a shit. Straight up, don't give a shit.
Your surroundings do have an impact on your artistry. I agree. Like I wonder if that song would have been written without that vibe and that.
So I think it is. People are busy doing other things. People are raising families. People are doing whatever. And then they're taking social media and just taking little snippets and saying, well, I agree with that little snippet because they're not taking the time to fucking actually do research.
No, everybody nowadays, most people live their lives like they're a stone skipping across a creek. I think I mentioned that before. And sometimes you got to stop and take a dive.
I can literally pull up my YouTube, like the background, the YouTube studio thing. And it shows you all the videos and stuff. And everything under 7 minutes gets about 100, maybe 200 views. Everything above 7 minutes gets, 10 or 15 views. People are not.
Yeah, you're right. Yep.
The 20-minute videos people are not paying attention to. I can literally show you that because it's 7 minutes and people are fucking out.
Well, maybe that's why people just like quick, like you said. You're probably right. They're not interested in taking more time outside of just little snippets.
Correct.
Like, okay, I know what I think about a certain subject because I just read it.
The snippet could be completely 100% fucking wrong,
yeah.
And it's gospel to them. Oh, it's that such and such said it. It must be a fucking thing.
Yeah, and now it leads to people like you and I who are a little older, and once upon a time you actually had time to dive into things because you weren't being bombarded by information nonstop during the day as a young person.
Well, I say this all the time, and it's like a fucking broken record. People literally have a portable computer in their fucking pocket and don't know shit.
Yeah.
We had to go to a fucking library. I didn't have one of these until I was what? 18, 19? Because they didn't fucking exist.
Yep. That's why I like when politicians are like, well, we need to put more money into the schools to buy books. I'm like, what? All those fuckers have the entire history of the world in their hand.
Yes.
If you don't know something in 2025, it's because you don't want to know something.
There you go. That's exactly it. It's available to them, just like music. Music is available to them.
Yeah.
So then when I call out somebody and say they're lazy or they're just a drama farmer or whatever the fuck it is, because they literally have this and still don't know what the fuck they're talking about. That's why I call somebody a drama farmer, because you're choosing not to educate yourself. All you're doing is trying to drum up fucking some sort of drama to get clicks.
Yep.
You're a drama farmer.
Unfortunately, these things also have a ton of bullshit on them too, like we were talking about.
Absolutely. No question. So okay, so we're gonna start getting into all these little fucking things. And I was pulling up another one of this fucking crazy person's stuff. Okay, so this is I don't know if you know who Selena Gomez is. She was a musician.
Oh, sure.
She was on Disney Channel, and of course, she was probably part of the Disney Channel stuff.
Yep.
But she bought in a long time ago, and this is a video proving that she bought in a long time ago. So let's listen to this crazy person and get your thoughts.
This here. Hollywood Records contract, and I'm signing it because I'm going to have my first record ever and selling my soul to Hollywood Records. That's what I'm doing. Hi. Isn't that right? Hi.
She literally says, "I'm selling my soul to the record company."
Well,
I mean, is that just her being stunning and brave, or is she literally saying, "Well, yeah, I'll basically bend over for whatever you tell me to do"?
I think she's
basically
being
saying that.
I think she's being a little cheeky, like cutesy, but it's like there's some truth behind it. Because those Disney stars, well, you would know more than I do, I'm sure, because you in the industry, but they have their lives mapped out for them by the powers that be. Here's what you're going to wear. Here's what you're going to say. Here's what you're going to sing. Here's what you're going to act in. It's like,
and then here's the same psycho person the day before she went to a huge award show wearing like a dress that was like $1 million.
Mhm.
I just want to say that I'm so sorry. Only people are getting attacked. The children.
Crocodile
No,
tears, go fuck
understand.
yourself.
I'm so sorry. I wish I could do something, but I can't. I don't know what to do. I'll try everything. I promise.
Performance art. That's
why
all
would
it
you-
is.
I was going to say, why would you do this? I mean, I can't think of any reason that somebody would do this. Except she's trying to glom onto a political movement, I guess. But
Yes.
she clearly doesn't know what she's talking about.
Yes.
And she's just acting. Like I've said before, actors sometimes don't know when to stop acting.
I don't know what to do. How about the people that you're saying that the children, how about you go to Congress and say, hey, I have immigrant friends and family, and we try to figure out a better way to make them legal citizens.
Yeah, I have a better idea for her.
Let's be illegal, and then when you're held accountable, you don't like it.
See, my idea for her is shut up and sing.
Yes.
They're good at. Do that. Shut up and dribble, as Ann Coulter once said to LeBron James. Like, I
Basically.
don't care what you think. You're a singer. Go do that.
Yeah. Go dance, fucking weirdo. Go dance.
Oh, right.
Like, it makes no, like, it, for somebody like me, this does nothing but say, okay, she's a whiny bitch that needs to shut up.
Mhm.
Is there somebody that is 16 or 17, 18 years old that are actually buying this? They have to be, right?
I guess.
She's got 13 million impressions. Oh no, that's probably libs of TikTok. But anyway, are people actually buying this?
And what's the point? I mean, are people going to go, I didn't think of it that way, but now that Selena Gomez is crying on camera,
Yeah, exactly.
I guess she's right. I better do something about this. I don't. Young girls are maybe easily. I don't know. I don't want to make it girls against boys.
But Selena Gomez is not part of the Disney machine anymore. So she's older now. She's what, in her 30s?
It's got to be in her 30s. She's been around for
She's
a while.
been around for a long time.
Yep.
So what kind of influence does she have on somebody that's 30s or 40s? I would probably say none.
Yeah, I have 3 girls. They were all fans of this kind of stuff. Selena Gomez, all that, but they don't follow her politics. I know for a fact. They're not influenced by her. So I don't know who would be. Dumb people, I guess. Maybe. Might
Yeah.
just be that. It's just an IQ issue.
And Scorpio's spot on. True ignorance and stupidity are choices. Absolutely.
Yep.
She's choosing to do this because, as far as I'm concerned, she's like, I'm on the right team. Choose me. I
Yeah.
will do whatever it takes to be on the right team. What supports the last video we just watched, where she said she was going to sell her soul. She's selling her soul right now. She
Nope.
did exactly what she said she was going to fucking do.
It's attention-seeking behavior. Many
Yeah.
such cases.
I'm not going to watch a movie that she's in because she did this. That's not influencing me to follow her art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, she's not my cup of tea, so I probably wouldn't
I probably
listen to any
wouldn't
of her
anyway because she's not my.
But
Yeah,
I wouldn't not. If she was coming out with tracks like Led Zeppelin, I'd listen to them. You know what I mean? I don't care that she's on making an idiot out of herself. It's not my problem.
yeah. But if she follows this up and wins an Oscar in a freaking movie that's amazing, then I might be
Yeah.
like, wow, okay, here we go.
Yeah, she's dumb, but she can act. That's what I would think. She's an idiot, but you know.
Yeah, I don't get it. Would you think that somebody in the 60s that we just watched a video talking about people in the 60s, do you think that they would be doing shit like this, or do you think they would be jamming on video? I think they would be jamming. They'd all be like LSD fucking just jamming. You know
I would like to. I'd like to think so.
I don't think they'd be sitting there fucking, the children.
I don't know. Maybe I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna just assume they would be jamming because it makes me happier to think that way.
Yeah, I think it does make me happier that they're fucking jamming and stuff. And this doesn't even if she said something that I agreed with, which I have one or two, like one video that I agree with the person, but even that, it's still going on social media and trying to glom onto something to try to sway an opinion. That's not going to make your art better. And the person that I have already has a career and doesn't have to worry about that, already has fans.
Mhm.
But I'm just saying is it doesn't make it right if it was somebody on the right doing the same thing. Like it's just performance art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would no more avoid a film with a leftist in it because they're a leftist than I would go to see a film with the right wing person in it because they're right wing.
Yes.
I don't care what their politics are,
it doesn't sway
and I wish they'd shut up
your-
about it.
Exactly. Either way, it doesn't fucking
No.
doesn't make a difference to me. I
My
want a fucking story.
My only reaction may be if I go see somebody that I align with politically, just so happen to, and it's really good, I'll be like, hey, chalk one up for our guys.
I think that would I think something like that would occur maybe in a comedian, because I don't want to hear a left-wing comedians talk about fucking the USA sucks.
No.
So I would probably have a little bit more leaning to somebody who's more of a
That's
center
true.
person or a right-wing person than a left-wing person. Even though I have seen left-wing people and they didn't really talk about politics. They just did their set. So I think that might be a little bit different in the comedy world, but true professionals, it wouldn't fucking matter.
Nah.
Like Jerry Seinfeld is arguably one of the greatest comedians of all time. His shows are insanely expensive. I would probably never go see him because they're insanely expensive to go see Jerry Seinfeld. But I don't line up with him politically.
No.
But I would go to see fucking Jerry Seinfeld.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'm just here to laugh. Tell some
Yeah.
jokes, dude. Yeah.
Dave Chappelle doesn't line up with me politically. I'm going to see fucking Chappelle.
Oh, no doubt. He's
You know what I
probably
mean?
top 3 for me. No, yeah.
But,
for sure.
but and somebody on the left, would they look at it the same way? I don't think they do.
No, I don't think they do. But fortunately, they don't have to worry about that because like 80% of comedians, musicians, and actors are lefties. So,
Well, which also brings up another a thought about that. When there be like anytime you ever say that to a left leaning person, they're always like, "Well, there's Fox News. What, one of a million? Get the fuck out of here!"
I know.
Like one of like 2,500 outlets, you pick one. It's like, get the fuck out of here. And I'm not even a huge fan of Fox News.
No,
But
they're cringy.
Yeah. But anytime that's ever brought up a fucking left person, well, there's Fox News. No, Fox News is a corporate version of the politically correct version of the right. That's what Fox News is.
Mhm.
It's the politically correct version of the right.
Yeah, that's true. It's a watered down version, right?
Yes.
We need extremist news network or something where
Yeah,
people
heck
get on
yeah.
there and just
I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. I hate
13% of the population commits 50. Oh, I can't say that on Fox News.
and even though I've got my qualms with them, I think that's why Geeks and Gamers and Gary and all of them fill that space, kind of. They don't always talk about politics, but they talk about the right-leaning aspect of the arts. So I think even though I disagree with a lot of what they say, and I think a lot of it is just I think that's why they're popular, because it's a different choice than what Fox News would offer you.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's like an alternative to mainstream media. So yeah, that makes sense. That's probably why.
Even though, like I said, they make 25 videos about the same fucking thing.
Well, I mean, they're doing it for a living, and you know what happens when you turn a hobby into a living? It turns into work, and you have to do certain things to pay your bills.
But I don't think I'd be a good YouTuber because I'm not like that at all.
No.
I don't think I would be a like successful YouTuber. I think I just like doing this because it's an outlet to use my creative stuff, you know? Because I don't.
There's so many pretenders to Gary and Friday Night Tights. Now there's like a million shows like that are trying to. It's like its own little cottage industry, yelling about Star Wars and being slightly right wing.
Yeah,
being going to Disney parks and playing Nintendo, that's an odd mix.
That is kind of an odd mix.
Disney parks, Nintendo, and right wing political beliefs. Strange.
Yeah, that is strange. Okay, so what we're gonna do is gonna bring up this fucking weirdo, which I can't stand with all the beating of my fucking heart. And he's not even a great actor. So we're gonna bring up this fucking weirdo.
All right.
What's this one labeled? Yeah, it's because it's weird, because sometimes it's labeled something that's different than what the video is. So it's kind of weird. Okay. So you know who this person is, right? Mark Ruffalo.
Oh, sure. Oh, God. Yeah.
Good old fucking Mark Ruffalo. So he has many of these fucking rants, and he is a fucking left lunatic.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why. The only thing I can think of is because he thinks he can glom onto the political side of the left and just keep getting work. Because he's not a good actor.
All I know about Mark Ruffalo is he's a mental patient. I couldn't tell you one movie he's in.
Well, he's Avengers because he's fucking the Hulk.
Oh, see, I didn't watch those movies, so I didn't know that.
I think that's what it is. He gloms onto this shit because it gives him work. That's it. He's not a good actor. He's never gonna win any fucking Academy Awards for his acting. He's not. It's not gonna happen. He's mid at best.
Well, this may be his greatest performance. Let's see what he has to say.
Elon Musk is such a two-faced turncoat trader because he was a climate champion. And he sold himself out for $1 and some power. Don't follow that guy. That guy doesn't even have his original accent anymore. Don't follow him. Don't listen to him. We're the ones who we have to believe in. We're the ones who we're waiting for, and we are the ones that have to move forward together. Elon Musk is
move forward together, like communists. He is talking like a fucking communist. We're gonna share everything and everything all for one.
Right, except I'm not allowing any illegals to live in my house.
No.
If they come near me, I'm going to have them removed. And while my security staff is removing them, I'm going to rush to the airport and take planes everywhere with carbon emissions. They're hypocrites.
Yes. Like, Elon Musk is a hypocrite. Why? Because he chose to be part of Doge, and he chose to actually be friendly with both sides. Because when fucking when Obama was president, he was on the left and he was a champion for climate change. And did Obama do anything for him? No.
Nah. I think Elon marches to the beat of his own drum. Really,
I think he does too. I don't think
he's kind of what I like about him.
Yeah, I don't think he's left or right. I think he's got views on both sides. I don't think he's left or right. I think he's only out for Elon, which I don't have a problem with.
I don't have a problem with either. He's another one. I'm like, yeah, Elon this, Elon that. Some people like him, some people don't. But you see that fucking rocket land in that little? I'm like, that's badass, and that's that guy's company. So,
yeah. And has anybody else done that?
No.
No.
The
Has
people were
anybody-
stuck on the space station. He's like, I got you. I'll go get them. It's
I remember
amazing.
I remember celebrating my birthday with cake and ice cream and watching the fucking space shuttle blow up
Ugh.
on my birthday.
Oh, fuck.
Elon Musk wasn't even, well, he was probably born, but he was a little kid during that time. But I think the advancements have been pretty good. And if Elon allows that, and his company and his scientists and his people can advance space exploration, I'm for it.
He is fighting against the IQ drain in this country, and I'm all for it. He's
Yeah.
still trying to achieve great things, whether you agree with him or not. In an
I don't
era
agree
where
with
not many
everything
people
he says. You know what I
No.
mean? Like, I don't
agree with everything anybody says. Disagree with you on some stuff. Disagree with Elon Musk. I mean, whatever.
But does his actions warrant a bit of respect? Yes, they do. Does his companies garner a little bit of respect? Yes, they do.
Yep.
They're not just, Elon's just not sitting on a corner saying, we need to make rockets that park itself. We need to do this. And he's actually fucking producing shit that does that.
Mm-hmm.
That's the difference.
We used to be a country that achieved great things back 50s, 60s, landing on the moon,
Absolutely.
space program, all these great things. And now we're just a country that, like you
Talks
and I are
about it.
doing right now, chatting on the internet, getting on social media. Elon's at least, he's a throwback. He's like, I want to go to Mars, so I'm going to go do that.
Before Elon, who would you have thought that made a difference in technology in the or technology or theory or advanced science before Elon, like an impactful person?
Einstein would be one.
Einstein, Martin Luther King. After that,
I don't know.
not
Martin
very many
Luther King-
people.
I don't know that he had much to do with science. I don't.
Well, I'm talking about as far as like a progressive in humanity or science,
see.
or like made like an important person in history that moved the needle in some way.
Yeah,
John
the only-
Kennedy, Martin Luther King,
yeah, I think-
Einstein.
Yeah, Reagan had a big impact when he was around.
I didn't like Star Wars. I liked Reagan, but I didn't like Star Wars, and he closed a lot of fucking mental institutions where half these motherfuckers should be.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I mean, I'm not thinking good or bad. I'm just saying somebody who had a really big impact on something, and he kind of.
I mean, he stopped
obviously
the
the Cold War, right?
Yeah.
That was the thing I was thinking mainly. He's like, fuck it, we're just gonna outspend them until they're broke. There, we won. Bye.
So anyway, what
So-
my point is there hasn't been anybody since Elon to fucking advance technology in the United States or make some sort of impact in society. There hasn't been since the 60s, maybe early 70s.
Yeah, I can't recall anybody in the 90s or 2000s doing shit. Bezos, maybe. Amazon was kind of a game changer from a business.
They made their thing when they started doing the 2-day shipping, and then they fucked everybody. You know what I mean? Remember the Amazon Prime where they just 2-day shipped everything?
Mhm.
And then they started squeezing everybody out. So if like you made a widget, they would fucking push you aside and then go to China and make that fucking widget and put it on Amazon for cheaper. So they fucked a lot of people.
I didn't think of that. It's a good point.
But I'm just saying, as far as an impactful person that makes some sort of mark, there hasn't been for a couple decades.
No, not especially not somebody who with his celebrity status too.
Yes.
He's like a celebrity genius,
Yes.
kind of in the end. And that's not a listen. He's political. People don't like it. People, bitch about him. But it's not bad to have somebody in your society or culture that is that kind of person that maybe inspires some young people. Maybe.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
rocket
it's
ship,
all
check that rocket ship out. I want to be
Yeah.
involved in that.
I think it's all about controlling people. I think that's what it is. The last 20 or 30 years, they want to control people.
I'd say for the last
And if you step out of
3,000 or
line, they
4,000
don't like
years.
it. And Elon most definitely steps out of line. Donald Trump steps out of line. That's why they don't like it, because they want you to bend the knee and fucking beg.
So
And
where's
when-
the pro? So we're watching the music video about the tour. I know there's lots of films with really heavy political leanings. Where's that in music anymore? I mean, popular music to me, it's
Yeah, there's
I
not
don't-
really any anti-war music.
It's
It's
not-
all just social media now. They don't
Yeah, I
actually
mean-
put it in their art.
right. Yeah, back in the day, you'd listen to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young singing, "For Dead in Ohio," and like
Yeah.
literally directly addressing.
Simon Garfunkel made anti-war music. It was
Mhm.
in their actual art. Now it's not in the art. It's in their brand, like you said earlier. It's in their
Mm-hmm.
brand. Like, I'm on the right team. I'm on the right team. Pick me. Pick me. That's exactly what they're doing with this shit.
I wonder why it's not. To get back to I think what we were talking about earlier, I wonder why people don't put it in art that much anymore.
I think it's the management companies that are telling people to do it. Like, hey,
Yeah.
do a video, crying about this and see if we can get some attention. Okay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's exactly what it is. It's their reps. It's their management company that's saying, hey, we want to show that you're on the right side. So do this.
Ironically, since art is controlled by leftists mostly, I think ironically the one music genre that has political statements in it is country.
Yeah.
They're talking about America. It's like
Yeah.
right wing-y stuff. But outside of that, pop music, I don't hear it. There's no protest. There's no rock and roll anymore, really. Hip hop is just
And I mean, you can and you can just look at people, and I'm using myself as an example, not because to look at me, I did all this. Okay, so I was in Michigan. I did a couple of films of my own, little short films and stuff. I went to LA, did a bunch of stuff there. I was a PA, production manager, production coordinator, a producer, did all kinds of stuff. Then I came over and started doing more of my stuff, did my own feature, and I've never been approached by a management company ever. Why is that? Because I don't bend the knee. I never have. People will pull me along because I'm a good worker and I know what I'm talking about, but I don't bend the knee. That's why I've always been skated on the outside. And I've always said that, and it's not really a regret, but the one thing in LA that I wanted was a mentor, somebody that could give me some good advice and that I could grow with. And I think with the video that we had talked, that we'd watched earlier with Tim, all those people were mentoring themselves. They were pulling inspiration, and you were learning from the best. You know what I mean? Like they were bringing out that art in people by obviously there was drinking and drugs and wild sex parties and all that stuff. I get
they're
that.
musicians. That kind
They're
of goes with
musicians. I get
drinking
that.
and drugs. Yeah.
I'm not taking that out of the equation. But they were pulling inspiration from each other. They were pulling that art. And what you were talking about earlier is they had to one up each other.
That's right.
When the Eagles are literally fucking writing bombs, you better fucking catch up or stay at their level.
And it's like that within a band too. Like what I do with my buddy, that he writes some songs and I'll go, oh, that's pretty good. I got to do better. Dude, it's Lennon and McCartney. They were always competing with each other with their songs, trying to one up each other. But it's
I
working
don't
for
think
his
it's like that anymore. I think it's the management company saying, hey, show them that you're on the right side. Okay. It's crazy. The kids.
That's pretty good, Derek. You should do a video crying about the immigrants. Maybe you'll get picked up by a management company.
I can't blubber like that. The only thing I would do is probably well up, and I'd be like,
You should watch the Commanders Lions game one more time. That might get you.
oh, that would probably, yeah. Fucking go. Oh, shit.
And Jaden Daniels.
It's crazy. The kids.
Think of the children.
Think of J-Mo. He's a fucking kid making millions of dollars, but damn it, shit's crazy. Okay, so let me I'm gonna pull up a couple other random fucking weirdos. And this one is this was a sign of the times back then. The Who was known for destroying their instruments and making a political statement. So I pulled one of their videos up just to kind of show you, like, this was a political statement that they were basically saying that they were anti-establishment. So this isn't the song. This is after the song.
The explosion caused a momentary breakdown in transmission across America. Pete Townsend claimed he was left permanently deaf in one ear.
Uh-huh.
Fine symbol
Whoops.
smashed into Moon's arm.
I'm literally the bass player in this band, just going, what the fuck are you guys doing?
So, do you think that that was a political statement during that time, that they were anti-establishment? They weren't being held by the man.
Yeah, I do. It's like a youth statement. The Sex Pistols did the same thing, did all kinds of outrageous shit just to show, man, I'm sticking it to the man. I think it's kind of fucking gay, to be honest with you. There's some. I used to get angry. I'm like, not the guitar. It's a nice guitar. Don't do that.
The Strat, damn it! Don't break the Strat.
But they were young and trying to get
Young and
attention, and that. Yeah, I think it was more a gimmick. I don't think they put a lot of thought into it, but I could be wrong. I don't know.
Well, the bass player obviously didn't know what was going on. So was he new to the band, possibly?
No, John Entwistle's been with him since the beginning. He's just
Okay.
got that bass player vibe. He's like, whatever.
Or just like, what's up, bro?
Never ask a bass player their opinion ever.
So,
That's
but they
art.
they did it with their actions. You didn't see them saying, "I'm sticking it to the man." They just broke stuff
Mhm.
as a statement.
Yep. That's fine. I mean, it's better than listening to him prattle on about shit. It's more entertaining, that's for sure.
It is pretty entertaining.
Watching
Yeah.
Keith Moon blow up his drum set, that was kind of good. I think he surprised Pete Townsend. Pete Townsend's like, yeah, I'm going to smash my guitar. And the drummer's like, how about this? I'll one up you.
What is going on?
Hold my beer. I'm going to blow up the drums. You better duck. There's a hi-hat coming your way.
So, do you think that was their version of a viral video? So, if
Yes,
if
that's
TikTok was
perfectly-
around back then, that would have been a viral video.
It's attention seeking. And that's absolutely a viral video. And people loved it because they're like, wow, I haven't seen this. It's like Hendrix used to set his guitar on fire. Like, dude, all right. I haven't seen this before. Sure. Sounds like fun.
Yeah. And then was it Ozzy or somebody else that was messing with rats and stuff?
The rumor was, and I think it actually happened, that Ozzy like bit into a bat
Oh, on stage he bit into a
on
bat.
stage or something like that. But I think for Ozzy, he was just, I don't think that was a statement. That was just a drug-addled brain. Maybe he had the munchies. He was so high. He's like, I got to eat something.
So something like that is a theatrical statement that
Yeah.
would have been a viral moment back then. But it wasn't
think
a
so.
political statement. It was just a fucking drug entertainment against the man type thing, right?
I agree. Yep. I don't think it was an overt political statement. It was either stick it to the man, like you said, or I just feel like bashing a guitar. Why not? The problem is then they had to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Like, well, it was a great show and the songs were great, but he didn't smash a guitar.
It'd be interesting how many guitars they actually went through.
That breaks my heart. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? Don't do that.
So that's pretty great. Okay, now this lady is a fucking weirdo. I don't know a whole lot about her. But she's a BBC actress. So she plays in a bunch of the stuff in England. She does these telenovelas and she's an actress in England. And she comes to the United States and has a meltdown at the airport.
Michael Jackson has a huge public meltdown inside a US airport as she faces off with a cop.
All right, so here's what's happening. You're going to stop and listen to me.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
Dare you take your hands over
It's not going to happen. Here's the thing. You've been denied boarding.
by the captain. I listen to captain's orders
And the
because I've seen
captain's
Titanic.
not boarding.
I've seen Titanic. I am White Lotus. I am Titanic.
Okay.
Get your hands off me.
We're going out.
We're
We
not
are
gonna-
escorting you out. You are requested to leave the property.
Well, guess what?
Get out of my
Back
face.
the f- off.
Get out of my face. Okay, all right. Ma'am.
Get your hands off me while I drink my water.
Nope.
Nope. Nope.
Nope.
Ready?
You've got to be ready to
Turn
go.
around.
Go on in 60 seconds.
You're under arrest. Turn around, put your hands behind your back.
No.
Turn around, put your hands
Not
behind your back.
again! Not again!
Put your hands behind your back.
Get your f***ing hands off
Stop
me!
resisting. Stop resisting.
Ah! No! No!
Stop resisting.
Help someone! Help! Help! Oh!
What in the world? Jeez.
Now
What-
that's
what was she-
drugs, right? That has to be drugs.
White women act awful weird sometimes, dude. I'm not sure. That could have been natural, but probably drugs. What was she arrested for? Do you know? Like what started all this?
It doesn't say. It just says BBC comic airport meltdown, snarling at the cops and shouting, "I'm Titanic."
Big stupid sunglasses inside.
And-
too. That's another pet peeve. Of
That
mine.
wasn't. Oh, inside. Yeah.
Yeah.
She just be slapped just for that.
I agree.
This wasn't a political statement. It was obviously she was on drugs.
Okay, well, that brings up this question. This is either she's on drugs or it's the rantings of a raving lunatic. What's
Yeah.
the difference nowadays?
And then help.
A political statement?
Fucking cops are the ones that are talking to you. What? Like a person is not going to walk up to the cops and start hitting them.
No, believe if I walk past this scene and she's screaming like somebody's going to help her, I'd ask the cop, "Can I get your baton real quick? Let me get a couple of whacks in here for you."
And the recent, the last 4 or 5 days, 4 or 5 weeks, 4 or 5 years, I can't breathe. I can't breathe. If you watch any fucking shit, they always say that I can't breathe as they're screaming at the top of their lungs.
Or are you dying of a drug overdose as well, ma'am? I'm sorry, you can't breathe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like it's all the. I don't think this was a political statement. I think this lady's either just fucking mentally not all there.
But what's
or
the
she's on
difference
drugs.
anymore? I watch people making what I consider to be political statements, and I go, "That person's a lunatic."
Yeah,
I don't
she
think
should be
they're
in a
like.
fucking mental hospital.
Yes, she should be. They gotta. There's a bring back mental asylums.
Exactly.
Maybe you're right. Fuck Reagan.
Yeah,
Bring them all back.
They need to bring them back.
Bring back loony bins.
'Cause, I mean, I think a lot of this stuff now is political, but it's also where people should have they should have already had medical help years ago, and they're not. If people just kind of blow it off like, they're just they're just being themselves, and it's excuses for people having mental fucking problems.
And it says she's a BBC comic. Boy, I bet she's a laugh riot.
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say because she's just out there. She's fucking gone. Weirdo.
Oh, I hope she doesn't have children.
Oh, I hope not. Please tell me she doesn't.
Let's just end that bloodline right there.
Exactly. Okay, so then here's another fucking weirdo. You ready for the weirdos?
I'm ready.
Ready for the fucking weirdos. And I grew up watching this fucking lady on Who's the
Yeah.
Boss.
She was a hottie when she was in that witch show. Charmed?
Oh yeah.
Is that her? Alyssa Milano, right?
Yeah, this is Alyssa Milano. Yes. Where she's another one where I'm on the right team, I'm on the right side, but then like she had somebody come by her house and she swore up and down that they were trying to like assault her, and she called cops. When she was the one that says defund the police, but yeah, she called the fucking cops when they're standing outside on the fucking it was like a person that was doing deliveries or something. They were
Mhm.
like a delivery vehicle, and she called the cops on them. She's not well either.
No.
But she's the first one to line up and make some sort of political statement. It's a running theme that these people are not well, but yet we're supposed to say she's got a good point. It doesn't make any it's like I'm a very logical person, maybe to a fault where I'm very logical. So when somebody's illogical, which is a lot of women, I don't get along with them, or I don't want anything to do with them because I'm a logical person. So I need a logical partner, somebody that is smart, somebody that can say, hey, this was a fucked up situation, but I understand why it happened. And this person is just a crazy person that keeps on saying, I'm on the right team, I should be on the right whatever.
It's like whatever comes out of her speech process doesn't go through her brain.
No, I haven't been on in
Yeah.
a while. But I just wanted to
Me neither, Scorpio.
jump on and say some shit. It feels like the country is dying. At least that's how it feels for me. I don't know how it feels for you.
The country is dying from the left side of the country.
I agree with her in principle with her opening statement. I agree with that. But
Yes.
she's blaming the wrong people.
Yes. That's a lunatic. That's not saying, okay, this situation right here is fucked up. This situation's right here is fucked up. Like I can see both sides. No, she is saying that my country is dying from the left side, looking at it as somebody from the left side.
Yep.
Like that's illogical to me. I can't look at it and say, yeah, she's got a point. You know what I mean? Like I can't do it.
Well, this is more attention-seeking behavior. I mean, who gives a fuck about Alyssa Milano anymore? in terms of
Honestly, she's
acting?
not a good actress. She's not. She was nice looking as a
Right.
as a TV star, and then bye bye, you're done. Your career is over.
For me, it feels like my country is dying. And it's hard to know what to do with that.
Could leave.
And I know it feels unbearable, like watching something sacred just bleed out in front of you. Well, you're just watching and not being able to do anything while others kind of cheer and look the other way. So I just want to say, if you're feeling any of that too, it's
Your side?
real. It isn't political. It's
Yes, it is political.
Yeah.
The left wants you to bow the fucking knee, and if you don't, they don't like you.
this is personal. It's emotional. It's existential, and it's grief, and it's love, and it's deep love for a country that was never perfect, but always promised.
Oh,
something
don't even go there. Bullshit. She was part of the Black Lives Matter shit. She was part of the feminist shit, and now all of a sudden, to create a more perfect union, didn't say we were perfect. A more perfect union, and then now she wants to use this bullshit, and my country is lost. Even though I look on the left and I was fucking burn, baby, burn.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not coming from a place of honesty. It's coming from a place of I flagged the right flag, so hopefully somebody will hire me to do acting.
Plus, at some point, there aren't you? Well, I don't know. Maybe I don't want to say this. Isn't she a little old to be posting this kind of shit on TikTok? I mean,
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it's attention seeking.
Yeah.
She's
No, I
not,
agree.
she's not good actor, and she's using whatever creative thing that she has to do TikTok because she got banned from fucking X, I think.
Oh, she did? Oh,
think
how about that? All right.
So it's like, and we all do it in some cases, I guess. You know, if I'm not writing a script or doing that, you know, this is a good way to use some of my creative stuff in talking and communicating. But we're talking about a certain topic. We're not going and talking about like, I think my country is dying.
No.
I have a lot to do with that, but it's dying.
I mean, I do, but I'm not going to go post a TikTok video. I'm 57 years old. I'm not making an Instagram reel.
She's got to be our age, right?
It's still probably your age.
I'm 48. So she
Probably
got to
around
be
your
like
age.
40s, right?
Yep. She's been around for fucking ever, as long as I can remember.
But yeah, like if a situation happens at the house or something gets fucked up, I'm not going to be like, what does Alyssa Milano think about this? I mean, get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
better, right? Like, I don't know. And now it's just, it feels like it's turning its back even on the promise. But I want you to listen to me. And
The promise is for people that are actually citizens of the United States, not people that are illegal or causing harm to people that are the part of the United States. I have two guys that I work with, okay? And I talk to a lot of the guys online. I've only met a couple of them personally because everything is all virtual. But both of them went through the legal process of being United States citizens, and they were very, very proud of that.
Sure.
That they were able to be they're legally United States citizens. They're very proud of that. And we celebrated them being proud of that. She is basically saying that it's okay to be a fucking degenerate. It's okay to be illegal. It's okay to burn buildings. It's okay to do drugs. It's okay to do all this stuff because my country is dying.
Those damn right wingers are ruining all the fun. I want to burn shit down, and they're not letting me. Wah.
And there are some people that have theories that the right wing needs the left wing and the left wing needs the right wing to balance everything out, which I do agree with that in some cases.
It's
but when you have the left
Joker,
constantly burning everything down and then blaming fucking Nazis and right wing people when it's left wing people that did it.
Okay, so your theory, I can see it like this. So the left has gone completely off the deep end.
Yes.
They're just maniacs.
Yes.
So now we have a president that's kind of a maniac, a little bit pulling it way back the other side, and it's like stretching. And I'm hoping in the end, this will all resolve by getting somebody who's sort of sensible. That's kind of,
which I don't think it's going to happen. I think we're pretty much done.
Yes, I think President Trump ruined the presidency for the future because now it's going to be what celebrity is going to be president next. Not that I don't like him. I'm just saying I think now it's a whole.
But the political system and the left versus the right has always been like that, where everything's in the center, stuff goes a little bit left, and then right brings it back, and then the right kind of goes a little bit right, and then the left brings it back. So it's always been everything is kind of focused on the center, and then when one was skewed, the other side always brought them back.
Okay.
It's not like that anymore. The left went so far fucking left. Now anything that is slightly to the right is right wing, and because the left wing has went so far to the left and basically says, well, I'm not going to talk to you because you're a Trump supporter. I'm not going to engage in, I want you to leave right now. Like it's all this stuff where the left is not willing to bring it back to the center.
There are people who I'm very close to in my life, dear people in my life, that I feel on occasion I have to walk on eggshells when I talk to them.
My brother's one of those.
It's frustrating because I'm like, it's me. You've known me for decades. It's Mike. I'm same guy.
Yeah.
Don't agree with some things, right? But it's weird.
I get irritated with people that have an opinion but don't have the experience to back it up. And I'm not saying the experience as far as like a working experience or being smart. I'm talking about like somebody will talk about something. It's like, well, have you been to LA? Have you actually seen where this is happening? Well, no. Then how the fuck do you have an opinion about it? I've actually been there. I've actually seen it for myself. You know what I mean? It's like, I think social media brings that on, but also it's people. Like my brother's not a very social media person, but he looks at the world like that, where he's got an opinion about something, but he's never seen it for himself. You know what I mean? And he's not a social media guy.
Well, in 2025, everybody's an expert in everything on Twitter. Yeah. Don't need to know anything.
But this is LARPing, and she's hoping to get another acting job, as far as I'm concerned.
She's she's a woman, so they generally stay liberal longer than men do. Because like, what's the saying? If you're 20 years old and you're right wing, you have no heart, and if you're 40 years old and you're left wing, you have no brain.
Basically. But like I said, it's always been, the right goes a little bit too far and it brings it back because of the left, and the left goes a little too far and it's always brought back to the center. That's the United States has been like that forever. And the last 10 years, it's not been like that. The left has went so far fucking left. Anything the right does is it's extreme. Oh my God, the fucking shit's crazy. The Nazis, it's fucking no. That's the problem. The problem is went so fucking crazy and not willing to come back to the center. That's a problem. And that's what the problem has been the last 10 years, as far as I'm concerned, because of Obama. Obama's fucking what started all this shit.
I would say, under his presidency, this is when all this divisiveness really kicked off. I agree.
I would have thought that having a black president would have been a unifying thing where people was like, we've actually finally gotten over race relations in the United States because and I understand that he's part white. I get that. That we at least said we've taken a step in the right direction. But since then, it's been nothing but the opposite. Which is sad, in my opinion.
Give an inch and they want to take a mile.
Yeah.
I want you to hear me. You are not alone. There are millions of people who feel how we're feeling right now. And some of them are still finding the courage to speak out, to organize, to
The courage. When all of the media backs your play, but you're the courage, though.
They're not the victims. They're the oppressors.
Oh, yeah.
We're the victims because we can't say shit.
The courage, but when it gets amplified, what you say 25 million times.
and that we have to remember is the lifeline. That is how democracies don't die.
We're not a fucking democracy. We're a constitutional republic. Get it straight, you fucking whore.
Because
I get tired of this whole democracy shit. We're a constitutional republic, period. If you don't like it, get the fuck out.
Right. I'm sure she could afford a plane ticket back to wherever she came from.
Exactly.
Italy, I'm assuming.
I'm not sure, honestly.
Milano, probably Italian. Dirty wop.
Away our country and our rights.
I'm Italian, by the way. I can say
now,
that.
not because it's easy, right?
Our rights are given to us as U.S. citizens, not illegal immigrants. Thank you.
I mean, it's not easy, but because it's right. It's just. And that matters. You matter. And I feel like as long as people keep showing up, there is still hope.
Unless you're a delivery driver, then don't show up.
Exactly.
All the cops on you.
You show up the outside and then the cops are called.
What a dope.
And then she had a fire and she had to call the EMS to help her get her horses out of the fucking pen. Oh, but she doesn't need no man now. Oh no.
Well, she's
she don't need no man.
sticking up. She's sticking up for the people. All the downtrodden who have horses and fucking security guards. Ridiculous. So it's all so tiresome to use a mean
Yeah,
phrase.
it's so tiresome.
It's exhausting to the
And
point
here's
where,
another-
what you said earlier, you just block. I do the same thing on Twitter. I'm like, mute. Just tired of it. Mute, block, mute on Twitter. Just to clean my feet up so I don't get angry every fucking day.
Yep. Have to. Okay, do you know who this person is? She was on Desperate Housewives a million years ago. And why the fuck do we care what she has to say?
Hi, everyone. I wanted to get on here and finally compose myself to do a message because of everything that's happening with the mass deportations. Every time I try to record a message, I just start crying, and then I don't want it to be about me and my
Eva Longoria, right? Isn't that her name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just so inhumane, hard to watch.
To get rid of people that aren't legally here. Okay. That's inhumane though. Let me ask you an honest question, Julio.
Mm-hmm.
Does the people in China, do they deport people that give a problem in China and go to China illegally? Do they get rid of them?
They either deport them or God knows what else they do to them.
Yes,
But
they do.
Yeah, there's no problem there.
Does Japan do the same thing? Yes, they
yes.
do.
Israel
Does
does
Russia
the same
do
thing.
the same thing? Yes, they do. Does Israel
Yes.
do the same thing? Yes, they do.
Yeah.
So why is it a problem when the United States does it?
Well, it's not. But the question is, why do people think it's a problem? What's wrong with her?
Again, I think it's
Your
just
brain not
people
work?
that are fucking dumb. She's dumb.
Yeah, well, yeah.
She was on one show that was successful, and it wasn't just because of her. It was an ensemble cast, so there was a lot of people who were part of the show. It wasn't just the Eva Longoria show.
I don't even
know what I
remember
mean?
her being part of it. I remember Sarah Jessica Parker, Kim Cattrall, the weird looking redhead, and
No, that was a different show. Desperate
oh,
Housewives.
that was Sex in the City.
Yeah,
Never
Sex in the
mind.
City.
Got it. All right. Sorry.
Desperate Housewives was basically Sex in the City before Sex in the City, but it was sort of like in the neighborhoods and like the suburbs.
Yeah, the show that launched 1,000 divorces.
Basically, yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to witness from afar. I can't imagine what it's like to be in Los Angeles right now. I can't believe it's happening in Austin, Texas. I can't believe it's happening all over the country. And the comments and people's reactions to it is really so surprising to me because it is un-American. We all can agree nobody wants criminals in our country. Nobody wants rapists. Nobody wants drug dealers. Nobody wants bad actors in our country. That's not what's happening.
I actually agree with her. That's where we come into agreement.
Right. I agree with her that we don't want rapists in the country.
Correct.
She's good on
These
that.
roundups are happening in birthday parties, in elementary graduations.
I mean, are they supposed to make a fucking appointment with them? Like, excuse me, we're gonna deport you next Saturday. Is that okay with you? Does that match up with your schedule?
Here's an app. You can self-deport if you like. We'll give you an app.
Just let us know when it's a good time for you.
Right. They're criminals.
Home Depot, those are not criminals. And I just hope that everybody has more
They are,
compassion
actually.
to this issue
Yes, they are.
and realize we have industries dependent on immigrant labor.
No, that's not true.
These are
There are people that don't have work that wouldn't mind taking those jobs as long
Which
as they
she-
paid well.
Correct. And what she's actually saying here, that she's not understanding, she's basically saying who's going to do all the manual labor and
Yeah.
cheap labor. If
Who's
we-
gonna paint the house? Who's gonna, do the fields? Well, if
Which
it's
is
a
what-
black
but-
person, then they're resorting back to slavery. If it's a black person's doing it,
Yeah, well, the
out of
the
here.
good thing here is she now must be a Trump person because Trump just said, well, we're not going to deport hotel workers and farm workers. So if they're on the same page here. So I'm sure she's going to come out with a new video praising President Trump.
No, that's never gonna happen. She wants another job of some sort.
people who feed us and take care of us and take care of our families and our children and our communities, and we can't
It's called parents.
deny them as humans.
Yes, exactly.
We just can't. And those of you that keep yelling, well, you should have come here legally, do it, get in the back of the line. There is no line. There's no line.
Yes, there is. One she asked the two coworkers of mine. Thank you.
This mythical line that everybody's talking about. There's people that have been waiting for citizenship for 25 years that have been in line. And I just ask for you guys to educate yourself.
I mean, this retarded person right here, if she would get a couple actors together or some influential people and say, hey, like, obviously I disagree with the way that the process is handling the immigrants. Okay. But I would like to try to propose some sort of way that we can make it easier or at least have a certain standards or guidelines for somebody to seek legal ways of getting into the country. I would
Yeah.
be for that.
Well, I get what you're saying. You're saying a more pragmatic way of going about what she's trying to say is to, like you said, try to look
I'm
at the
not
process
saying that automatically give
and
people
see how to make the
citizenship, but
process
at least
better.
streamline and make it better. And you have to be in the country and working, and you're not on financial aid or whatever the fuck it is. Like streamlining the process of somebody being a legal citizen, I would be for that. I'm like, okay, there's always a way that we can try to figure things out to do better or streamline or make things easier. Like, I would be for that. But
See,
to
I'm a
sit
bit of
there and
an
say, well, it's inhumane to kick somebody out of the country that is not legally here and is causing crime, that's fucking ridiculous. That's not the
Dude.
right stance to have.
Derek, you're being reasonable here. So she's
Exactly.
being.
I'm
and
too logical. I'm so sorry.
What I'm going to say is going to be just as unreasonable as what she's saying, but on the other side, if I were the president and I was in charge, I would put signs at every border saying, fuck off, we're full. And I don't care where you're from.
Basically.
No more immigration, period, for a while.
So And
We're
if
good.
Trump
Don't need
would
anybody.
say, he would put together a 20-person group of people that are in the immigration community that are spokespeople and says, okay, we want to come up with some legislation where everybody's going to be happy with this and streamline the process, they would still have a fucking problem with it because it's Trump. It's always about the fucking message. It's always about the message, the message, the message. These people are fucking retarded.
Like I was saying at the beginning of the show, if he could cure death, literally, and people would hate him.
So if he got together 20 immigrant leaders and said, how can we make this streamline and how can we make the process better or this, that, and the other thing, they would still have a fucking problem with it because these people are fucking weirdos. No matter what the debate is, they're fucking whack jobs. They are always going to have a problem with something. That's why I always say it's all she's doing is trying to get another fucking role.
But
Because
who's
she's
gonna-
speaking the message. You know what I mean?
But who's going to feed and take care of our children if we send the illegal immigrants back? I'm like, wow.
So if I met
mom
a
and
girl,
dad, maybe.
So it's well documented. I've talked about it. I have a movie. I can't have children. Okay. So, if I met a girl tomorrow that had a young kid, I'm not going to be like, you know what? We're going to have to call our local immigrant and have them watch the kids so that you can go to work and I can work at the house, doing my thing.
All right, honey, I'm going to Home Depot to pick up the babysitter. I'll be back in 10 minutes.
That's not a thing, correct? When you're a young father, were you like, you know what? I'm going to go to Depot and see if I can get somebody to watch the kids.
You
Was
know
that
who
a
watched
thing?
our kids? My mom or my wife's mom, or we knew some people in the community that were babysitters, like old school 16-year-old girls that were nice, and we knew the families would come over and watch the kids. Like normal fucking people.
That's pretty much how the babysitters that we had was the same thing.
Yeah.
And every once in a while, there would be a recommendation that would become a train wreck, but that was sort of part of life and learning. You know what I mean? Like my parents didn't have every answer to everything.
No, of course not. No.
But like most times it was either my grandmother's or my aunts or whatever. Every once in a while, there'd be a random babysitter because nobody was available that day or something, you know? But yeah, I'm not going to Home Depot to say, you know what, babe, let's get our local immigrant to watch the kids.
If you're out there yelling, good, they deserve this. They don't. These are hardworking people from my community. And I think we need to.
Your community, not Americans. Yep. That's the problem.
Your community is living in a house and probably having lots of nice kids. It have nothing to do with fucking my community. It's ridiculous.
Have more compassion for
No, I refuse. Nope.
them. They want to just come here, work, and provide for their families. For those of you guys protesting out there, be safe, be respectful. We have to remember that.
They didn't listen to Eva Longoria. They're burning the fucking LA down.
No.
So her influence doesn't mean a fucking thing.
Nope.
She's auditioning for the next role.
The reason why people are protesting, the reason we're protesting is because parents and mothers are being separated from young children. There are minors in detention centers.
That is a fucking lie. It's the minors are the fucking people that are escorting them across the border. That is a fucking Democratic lie. It's already been proven multiple times. There are young kids that they're using as people to escort them across the border, and then it's like, oh, that's my son. Like it's already been documented. They've already got it on fucking video that they're doing it. And this fucking bitch, of course, has a certain way of looking at it. She's auditioning for the next role. Desperate Housewives, the fucking weirdo bitches season. You know what I mean?
Yep.
For weeks at a time with adults. I mean, you can see the problem with that. The lack of due process for law-abiding, tax-paying immigrants.
They are not paying taxes.
No.
They're illegal immigrants. Go
and
fuck
they're,
yourself.
By definition, not law-abiding.
Correct. If you commit a crime and they say that because your crime, you can't have a gun. and then somebody comes to rob you, you pull out a gun, you shoot the person, and it's self-defense. You are defending yourself. Is there a problem? Yes.
Yeah, you
because you're
broke the
not
law.
supposed to
You're supposed to
have
have
the
a gun.
fucking gun because you're breaking the law. It's the same fucking thing. But again, people like this don't have logic. They're fucking dumb.
But who would make tacos, Derek? They're such a difficult cuisine to
One
figure out.
right doesn't make another right. One bad doesn't make a right. I mean, it's illogical. You are still breaking the law, even though you're legally defending yourself from somebody that's trying to do you harm. You shouldn't have had the gun because you're on fucking probation. This has been a fucking argument for the last 40 fucking years. It's like, well, you know, this person just keeps going to jail because you keep breaking the law because you're not supposed to have the item. You're not supposed to have the fucking gun. You're not supposed to be fucking this bitch. You're supposed to be like somewhere else. It's just it's a constant fucking what I always like to call it's you're purposely being like, oh, it's crazy. I didn't know what was happening. It's wild. You know what I mean? Like
willfully ignorant, I think.
That's exactly what I call it. It's willfully ignorant. Like, oh, it's crazy. I didn't know I wasn't supposed to have a gun. You just got fucking prosecuted and you know damn well you're not supposed to have the fucking gun. It's the same thing. If you're here illegal, it doesn't automatically make you legal because somebody says you're legal.
They're they're trying to confuse and obfuscate the situation. It's not that hard to figure out.
It's not.
If you're not a citizen, you got to get out. There. I just explained it for everybody. To everybody. If you're not here legally, you got to go.
And
I don't care if you work at a fucking hotel, farm. I don't give a shit.
If I was an illegal immigrant and I had my family here, and maybe some of the kids are actual legal immigrants because they were born here or for whatever reason they're legal, I would go immediately to the state government and say, okay, look, I came here illegal 1,000,000 years ago. What can I do to become legal, or what's the process that I can do to that I can do so that it's not going to hurt my family? That's the honest way of doing it. Like, look, I know that I'm here illegal. I want to try to make it legal. What process can I do to move forward? And I guarantee you that the people that are in California, which all lean left, or not all, but a majority of them, they would put you through that process because they don't want you to leave. They want you to be in California. They want you to pay taxes. But
They want you to vote Democrat.
Yeah, they want you to vote Democrat. So they would be open arms and help you everything that you can to be a legal citizen because they want you to be there. They want you paying taxes. They want you to be part of California. It's the people that are like, nope, I'm not doing shit and I'm still illegal. And then when they get held to account or held responsible, oh, that's a problem. Oh, it's unethical. When this dickhead, all they had to do is go up to the fucking state office and try to at least get the process rolling, what they can do to get it fucking rolling.
That takes effort.
Exactly. It's low effort fucking thinking. It's not logical. These people are fucking dumb. They're dumb. 2 seconds, I could look up, like, in Georgia, what would it take for me to become a legal citizen of Georgia? A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, I'm going to go there tomorrow and talk to them about how I could get the process rolling.
Yep.
Done. No, they don't want to. Why is that? So that they can cheat on the fucking census, so they can cheat on the fucking taxes, so they can bring Juan's brother, sister, aunt, uncle, stepkids all across the board illegally. Like, it's all a fucking game. And people like me aren't playing the game and have never played the game because I see right through their bullshit. I see, like people don't want to be held account because it's one of those things. As I talked to a police officer a long time ago, and they said, well, if you get pulled over by the cops and you're nervous for a reason. You're hiding something.
It's true. Yep.
When I get pulled over by the cops, oh yes, sir, here's my stuff, blah blah blah. I'm not nervous. Why am I? Because I don't have anything to hide.
When I went my first divorce, my ex was having somebody follow me around, keep an eye on me, and one of my friends like, doesn't that make you nervous? I'm like, this guy that's investigating me must be bored out of his mind because I'm the most boring person. Like, I'm not doing anything.
Like, I don't have anything to hide.
Yeah, I'm going having a beer at happy hour. Playing
If you're nervous, if you got all this shit, you got something to hide.
Mhm.
Plain and simple. You're doing drugs. You got a weapon. You illegal immigrants. You got a rap sheet a mile fucking long. Like, there's something that you're hiding.
That have been part of our community for a very long time. I am going to continue to support and post and speak out. I've posted where to donate, where I've donated.
Donate. Not go to Congress, not go to their state representative and say, hey, what can we do as far as helping people get legal citizenship or making the process streamlined? No. It's all about raising money that's going to go through Act Blue, and Act Blue is a Democratic fucking processing company.
She should donate her money to the IRS to make up for all the taxes that these people aren't paying.
Exactly. It's all bullshit. All of it. And again, I see through the bullshit.
Is Endelon, the National Day Laborers Network, Organizing Network, MALDEF, the Mexican American Legal Defense Fund. There's also IMDEF, which is another immigrant defense fund. The other one is
All ran by Act Blue. Thank you.
I wrote them down. Oh, the National Immigrant Justice Center. All of these are legal services for immigrants. I've supported them for years. I've been working with MALDEF for 20 years now. And so these are the services that our communities are going to need. They need lawyers. They need help with the due process that they're not getting right now.
Who's paying for the lawyers?
Exactly.
Oh, it's me again.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yeah, it's you again.
nuts.
It's Act Blue. It's the Democratic Party.
There's egg on my face. Ooh, got me again.
I mean, look at the Black Lives Matter shit. Who was their payment processing? Act Blue. Who's the payment processing for all the senators that run in the Democratic Party? Act Blue.
Mhm.
Who's a national what's the one the poverty center shit that's on fucking
Oh yeah. Legal
the George-
poverty. Something.
yeah, the George Soros funded. Where's their processing? Act Blue. It's all bullshit. People watching, it's all bullshit. It always has been bullshit. And if you follow it, you're a fucking idiot. Dumb people. God. So I'm getting all fucking weirdo on this one. Like this shit drives me crazy where the good Lord above gave me the biggest bullshit detector there ever has been. It's all bullshit.
Now, so I want to say thank you to all of our allies who are standing by us and speaking out. I've seen white people post, black people post, everybody's just being affected by this. Thank you. Thank you for seeing us. Thank you for
seeing you.
If you're a white person and you support this, you should be deported too. You got to go
Get the
back
fuck
to
out.
Europe with you or Greenland or wherever the fuck
So
white people are from.
I know I was fucking triggered on this one. What do
I
you
noticed.
think about this shit? Pisses me off of how just it's bad actors. This is bad acting where instead of trying to streamline the process to get people legalized, it's all dark circles. It's all in the shadows because they want to fucking cheat. They want to fucking skew the senses. They want people to fucking cause crime.
See, my stance, I'm black pilled in terms of this country. I think, and I'm not being hyperbolic here, I think it's over. Or at least the America that I would like to see is hopeless and unrecoverable and done. So in accepting that myself, it's allowed me to not get terribly triggered by these people because I'm like, whatever. I'm doom pilled, I think is the word. Not healthy. I'm not happy about it. But I get riled up at stuff sometimes, but I've seen it so much. It's nonstop thrown at you. It just I've become like numb towards it. And I just feel bad for the next generation of Americans that are going to have to deal with this. You know,
Yeah.
there's a reason I think young people look back like there's still nostalgia. Young people who didn't live in the 80s have nostalgia for the 80s because they look at it and they go, "Oh, look, it's a shopping mall with cute girls, and there's no rampaging Africans running around with machetes and raping." Like, Dad, was it really like that? I'm like, it's all true, buddy.
Rampaging
It was
Africans.
absolutely like that. You could go out and not worry about things like you have to worry about now. It's just sad. It's so sad. But whatever. I'll be dead in 10 years. What are you gonna do?
I don't like people that just blatantly lie to me. And this is social media, but I've run across people that do the same shit in real life, where they're so disingenuous and uninformed, but yet they want to have a voice. And then when you push back with them a tiny bit, they fucking rage quit and fucking go nuts because they don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And then they want to lie to you. And it's like, bro, like, Jesus Christ gave me a huge lie detector and you're a fucking liar. God dang.
It's plus it's like you get the brainwashed vibe too. So like happened to be my ex and I were helping my son move a few weeks ago. And we were just chatting. It was just her and I just chatting about stuff. She was listening to a book. And she goes, "Oh, you should check this book out. It's about how it was actually women that cracked the Enigma code in World War II." And I'm like, "Oh God, you really believe that, don't you?" I'm like, no, it wasn't women that did it, but
yeah,
they may have been told to do certain things to help.
Yeah.
But a guy, but she was like, "I never knew women were responsible." And I'm like, like, we were married at one point. What was I thinking? You know, but it's like, you can't be, I'm like, I'm thinking, say her name is Dolores. It's not, but I'm like, Dolores, I wanted to tell you, I remember you weren't that dumb. What happened? What
How'd
happened
you get
to
dumb?
you? What happened? You still look great, but boy.
Scorpio says the same thing. He finds himself very black pilled.
There you go. You got to, right. If I wasn't laughing, I'd be crying. So I might as well laugh.
Yeah, I still get triggered.
I can understand why. Any rational person would, but at this point, I'm so just despondent about it that I'm.
Yeah, and
I don't want to go through life being angry. You know what I'm saying? So I try to. I know this is I'm being selective viewing, but I try to avoid. I mean, I don't mind chatting with you about it on the show. That's cool.
Yeah.
But like we were saying on X, I just block, mute, block. I just don't want it in my life. I have songs to write. I have a job to keep. I have children to hang out with. You know, so I try to focus on the happy parts of my life as I march slowly towards
the miserable bullshit.
Yeah.
Okay, this one made me smile. Even though this guy over the years has been kind of a dickhead, it made me smile. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to add it because we always need to lighten the mood down a little bit. You know, I always put the puppy videos in there and just trying to lighten it down a little bit.
Some wacky stuff. It's like the wacky.
Okay, so this is he played for the Yankees for a very long time. A very popular guy. The guy slept with just about every woman in New York City.
You must be talking about Derek Jeter.
No, is cohort Rodriguez.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Yeah, this guy slayed puss like it was fucking going out of style.
Good for him.
Jennifer Lopez and all of them. And so I wanted to play this video just to kind of lighten it up a little bit.
All right.
You played you played with the cornhole stuff, right? It's like a little
sure.
bean bag and throw in the little hole.
Love it.
He's helping my man out here.
Gonna nail it? No, damn.
And this little kid's like, what just happened?
That was cool.
See, why don't we see more of this type of stuff where it's like he's helping a little kid out who's trying to figure out what's going on and he freaking just nails it. You know what I mean? Like
this does restore some faith in humanity. Like I'll watch videos like, you know, you're at a baseball game and you catch the foul ball and the little girl next to you looks disappointed and then you give her the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nice little random acts of kindness. I like that.
So it's like it's one of those things where it's like that was actually a happy video. You know what I mean? Like
That was a hell of a shot too.
was a hell of a shot.
Hit the tray.
And I don't know if the kid because the little kid, he stopped playing at like before the little kid was born. So who knows if the little kid even knows who he is? You know what I mean? But
Yeah,
he's a
he's just
legend
like-
in New York. He was a Yankee and they won world
Mhm.
champions and the whole thing. So everybody obviously knows who he is. But
Notorious egomaniac too. If I
yeah,
recall.
he was but he backed it up with championships. And
It's true.
like I said, he's slanging fucking puss like crazy.
I'm not hating on him. I heard he had an ego, but I guess I would too if I was one of the best baseball players and banging every hot chick in New York.
Yes.
I'd be like, you know what? I'd look in the mirror and go, you know what? You are the fucking shit, motherfucker. Right here. This guy in the mirror.
And then okay, so this one everybody and their brother's seen. And I just wanted to talk about it because it was on social media for weeks and weeks, and kind of want to just because we were talking about like the viral moments and would something like this have been a thing 40 years ago?
どうなんでしょうか。
Wow. Will Smith just smacked the shit out of me.
ウィル・スミスにやられました。
So it's like what having your family drama brought in front of an audience, if a comedian was talking smack about one of your wives when you're married, would you have got pissed and fucking walked up to the comedian and just smacked the shit out of him?
No.
Because it's
Chris Rock is a comedian.
Yes.
Expect
And
to get
he's
heckled.
been the same way for how many years?
Yeah, he's funny as shit. I like Chris Rock.
And he called Will Smith's wife what was the G.I. Jane 2, which was G.I. Jane 1 was an actual fucking movie
Yeah, Demi Moore, right?
with Demi Moore.
I thought it was a pretty good joke. You laugh it
I thought
off.
it was a really good joke too. But would something like this have happened without social media? Because I think it's a social media
You think it's a stunt?
a stunt.
Maybe. Yeah. No, I don't think it would have happened if he didn't know millions of people would be watching and clipping and posting. So no.
I think it was a stunt.
Which is the
Because-
opposite of how people should be, because generally you're like, oh shit, people are watching. I better be on my best behavior. Not the opposite. Now it's the opposite. People
Yeah,
are
you wanna stay
watching. I'm going to be a
professional.
shithead.
Yeah, you want to stay professional because it's like you don't want your business out in the world and people will be like, that dude's a fucking shithead. You know what I mean? He handled that fucked up.
Well, there's no money in being private, and unfortunately, that's extended out to the general populace. I can't tell you how many times I'll log into Twitter and I'll see a post saying, "Well, wife's in the hospital again. Her liver enzymes are pretty high," and I'm like, "Dude, why are you posting this on?" Or, "Oh, my computer's not working. My cord's broken," and I'm like, "All right, just post sports stuff and funny memes. Cut it out with the family drama on blast to everybody."
And do you think it's because they're looking for sympathy? Because there's nobody at the house to sympathize. They're looking for sympathy.
Yes, and sometimes I think it's out of loneliness, which I live alone in a one-bedroom apartment. I get,
Yeah.
but then he's talking about his wife. I'm like, well, okay, you have family that you could probably talk to. I just don't understand why people want to air out every little detail of their private life online.
Like I after the stream, I'm going to call my dad because it's Father's Day, so I'm going to call my pops. And if I had an argument with my dad, I wouldn't be back on social media and say this motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like I would never do that.
No.
Like I don't understand. Number one, the people don't know my dad. They don't know the history of my dad. They don't know anything about him. So all they're looking for is just one side. Like this motherfucker. They don't know anything about my dad. All they're doing is listening to me talk shit about my dad. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's either they're trying to gain sympathy or they're trying to gain people to be like, well, he has a problem with his father, then I have a problem with my father. Fuck that guy. You know what I mean? I think they're trying to get people on their team. Their team.
Yeah. I've already got a team. I'm good.
Could you imagine that? Just like this motherfucker.
Got your own father, right?
Yeah, no
This-
shit.
my dad, this jackass I just talked to.
Okay, so let me get this party started here. Okay, so during the protests that have been happening in LA and these fucking grifters, where there's pictures of people burning shit and they got a fucking ankle monitor on there. They're criminals. Everybody knows they're fucking criminals, and people are still like, the people in LA are raging. It's fucking criminals. It's fucking lowlifes. It's the same lowlifes that if the fucking Dodgers win the championship, they're burning shit.
Yeah.
It's the same people.
Yep.
So a Hollywood actor that was in Family Time, or not Family Time, what the hell? A Full House, and then she was in Full House, decided that she wants to be part of the fucking fun down in downtown LA. Now, and this is not anything toward you, because we know that you've been divorced twice. This whore has been divorced 4 times.
Oh, is she single
It's
now?
not working. It's not working. So obviously, it's not the guy's fault. If she's been divorced 4 times, it's not the guy's fault.
That's why I've given up. I'm like, well, I'm clearly not very good at it, so forget it. I'll move on to something
fucking
else.
times, and she's not the problem. But of course, these lefties gonna. Oh, she's the problem. She's not the problem. She's a victim. So this is her arriving during the time, and her trying to be inconspicuous, even though she's not.
You should step back. Can you give a shout to cut? Can you give a shout to cutscene? What? Me, shout to cutscene. Me. What's up? Hey man, what's up? You're doing a good job.
Most of those kids have no idea who the fuck she is. Correct?
No, they don't. I couldn't understand what that guy was saying to her either. Like, English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
Yeah. Who knows? Obviously, he knew who she was. That's why he was trying to get some sort of reaction. But most of those kids have no idea who the fuck she is. None.
I can't lie though, Jody. Hold up. Can I share something real quick?
Sure.
I want to give you a. Here's Jody's. There's the girl that was in the mask and all the get up. She should have rolled out looking like this. Then I'd be paying attention. That's the same girl, same woman.
Yeah.
I'd be like, all right, what do you want me to do again? I'm good.
Did she get a boob reduction? Because she didn't have those bringing them to protest.
Well, that's a crime against humanity if she did.
The cannons were
My
covered
deportation list is growing. Now I'm like, deport anybody who wears a mask in public, anybody who wears a backpack outside of an educational situation, anybody who wears sunglasses inside or a ski hat inside.
And there was an
anybody that's a
80s
breast
song
reduction.
about that, about
All gotta go.
sunglasses at night, so I can. Okay. Here's the same crazy lunatic trying to push back on the fucking cops. Then they were trying to say that she was trying to sue the cops for roughing her up when she's clearly trespassing when there's a line of police officers. This how fucking dumb these people are. And then, and see, she's got her mask is obviously who the fuck she is.
I'm trying to figure out the breast reduction angle. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Oh, she still got him.
Nope. It's still there.
Yeah.
Thank God. She can stay.
So then that Jody comes out and says, no, I was there at the protest. I was doing, my thing, and I'm not gonna sue. But the narrative is she's going after LAPD. She's going after the whole thing. It's all bullshit.
And that bitch flopped like LeBron too, boy.
Yeah,
She took
she
a
did.
bump like she was in the WWE.
They told her to fucking move out of the way. Just stand back. And she didn't fucking listen, and she got fucking pushed. And they're taking over a fucking expressway. They're blocking fucking traffic, which is illegal.
I hate that. These poor people trying to get to work, trying to pick up their kids maybe from somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
So who's in the wrong here?
The people in the cars for not running these fuckers over.
Yeah, that's yeah.
I mean, not to cut to the quick, but there.
I think these people are being overly nice. Honestly.
Me too. You've heard me when we
whoop
talk
that
about it.
ass and they don't do it again, but they keep doing it because they get away with it.
You've heard me on the other show where on occasion suggest that we need to bring back German shepherds and fire hoses.
Yeah. Do you see that blue dye?
It's not a
shit that
bit. I'm not kidding.
They spray at people.
I heard about that, but here's the problem with that. If you just launch blue dye out of a hose into a crowd of people, you're going to dye some innocent people, you would think. It's not an exact science. So you might accidentally get hit by the blue dye, and the next thing you know,
what's
you're
the
in a
chances, though? You're all fucking guilty as far as I'm
Turkish.
concerned.
Next thing you know, you're in a Turkish prison because you were just walking by, minding your business. And
Never had a grandma that just like randomly hit you, and it's like, what I do? Because you were with them, encouraging them. It's the same thing.
As a matter of fact, I did have a grandmother. Who just hit me. She was Italian, and I got
I didn't
several
do
slaps in the
anything.
back of the head.
You encouraged them. You get a slap.
Yep. Yep.
Same thing. You're getting the blue dye because you're encouraging them. You get fucking blued. But yeah, they're trying to say, well, she's trying to press charges. It's a fucking lie. And the media covers it up every time. Every time. No justice, no peace.
And goes back to the whole 60s hippie bit.
Yep, that's Black Lives Matter.
All these white women are LARPing as 60s hippies. That's exactly what they're doing, because white women, I'm finding out, don't grow up anymore.
Nope.
They're 50 years old and they're on Instagram and TikTok.
And the organizers of this, all this LA shit, is Black Lives Matter of LA, and then there's 2 or 3 other fucking communist groups that organize the protest. That is a fact.
You don't think BLM's backed by communists? I think this is, I'm going into conspiracy.
No, it's all backed by
Soros.
Soros. All of it is.
This is all social. People say we won the Cold War. Not so sure. They're still at it. They're just doing it in a different way.
We're not going to get taken over by guns and tanks and ships. The way that you take over the United States is you have everybody inter-fight. And these idiots, these useful idiots to the enemies of our country, are doing exactly what they were fucking told to do. These people are useful fucking idiots.
There is a large percentage of people that are taking direct advantage of the American people's kindness.
Yes.
We need to be less kind.
They need to get the fuck out, or if you don't like it, get the fuck out.
And that's why I think the country's doomed, because there's already too many of them in the country. You can't, short of doing something I would never advocate on YouTube, there's really no way to win.
No, you need to escort them out off the premises. How many LA people or Hollywood people are like, well, I'm leaving the United States if Trump is elected. Get the fuck out. They never seem to get the fuck out because they're doing it is using it for another job. That's all they're doing it.
It's hard to win when you're logical and have a brain against a mob of absolutely mindless morons.
Yes.
Who are prone to violence, have no impulse control, and also the key is fuck like rabbits and have like 7 or 8 kids each.
Yes.
You're getting out. It's attrition.
You're getting
And
out fucked.
Americans are getting out fucked. No, that's, you know what? It's funny, but it's true. We're getting out fucked.
You are getting out fucked.
See, I'm somebody who's able to have children, fortunately, and I have 4 beautiful white children. I did my bit, motherfuckers. Step up.
That's funny. I tried to pull it up, and I don't know why I brought it on live. But yeah, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at complete fucking morons.
Mm-hmm.
Like it drives me ape shit of just the LARPing, you're not a good actor and you're doing it for, I have no idea what fucking reason that is.
Nothing scares an actress, I think, more than getting old. And I think it's them clinging on to what the quote youth is into, trying to act 20 years younger than they actually are.
So if they got their way, okay, and they seceded, California seceded from the United States, okay?
Good.
And they became their own country.
Mm-hmm.
How long would it take for them to fucking fold? Less than a year? They have nothing.
I don't know.
offer.
They do have a lot of industry out there and they do generate stuff, but the amount of illegals that have invaded their state, it would drain their finances if they had no help from the federal government. So
Oh no, because they seceded. Their own.
That's what I'm
country.
saying. That would be the one thing that would kill them. Is
Less than a year, they'd be taken over. Less than a year. So what's
There was
the
an old-
fucking point?
there was an old Bugs Bunny cartoon where he got angry at Florida for some reason, and you saw a picture of Bugs Bunny literally sawing Florida off of the map and pushing it out to sea. What if we could do that to California and just
See, that's why this is illogical. Because if they did become their own country, they'd fold in a year. Because they would do nothing but interfight with each other.
communist countries don't work. So
And they've never worked in the history of the fucking world. They've never worked.
It's
Why did
because-
they think that it's going to work?
because communism goes against human nature. Humans are competitive animals who like to succeed and drive and have something
So-
to move forward towards.
So there's no end to this. It's all it is just LARPing and somebody's footing the bill. That's all it is. It's a whole big fucking act, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree, but it's working, unfortunately.
It's not gonna create any kind of change, social change. If California broke off and did their own thing and was their own country, it wouldn't last. Like
Maybe
what-
that's why Hollywood is dying, because reality is so much more entertaining than any movie could possibly be. You get a movie every day that you can't believe it's happening. It's like sci-fi, but it's actually happening.
So this is the last video, came out a couple of days ago.
All right.
And Mr. Mel Gibson had something to say about what's happening in California.
My man.
And I agree with Mel Gibson. But again, it's the same thing where he's on social media saying something that, yes, I agree with, but he's still on social media trying to reach people that may not like him. So, like, what effect is it going to have? It's not.
Yeah, that's a good point. Even though I'm probably going to agree with what he has to say, because I
I
generally
agree with
do.
what I've seen the video, so I
What's
agree
the
with what he has
point?
to say. But what is the point? It's not going to change anybody's mind that's in the middle going, you know what? Mel Gibson has a point. Because somebody
Mad
that's
Max,
25
man.
years old thinks he's a boomer, thinks he's this, he's that.
Mhm.
They're not going to listen. I think part of the problem is you've got these uneducated 20-somethings, usually lower 20-somethings, that have no direction, they have no skills, they have nothing. And people convince them that it's the man that's holding them down.
Well, let me circle back to the beginning of this show.
Yeah.
And how I said that the hippie movement has affected us down through the years. Hippies, free love means sex isn't important anymore. It's not part of a monogamous relationship. So women are running around having babies, blah, blah, blah. But of course, these relationships don't last because they're all drug-addled hippies.
Yes.
So you wind up in my generation with a lot of fatherless children, like myself. My dad wasn't around. And so you're raised by women. So even if you're a guy, you're sort of have that. It's anyway, the point being, it's trickled down to this. There's no direction. Children need fathers. We are not disposable. Just because you want a divorce, because you want to go bang some 18-year-old, fine. But don't drag me into your midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Speaking for a friend, but it's the disposable nature of fathers. Fathers are not seen as being an important member of a family anymore. And that stemmed, I think, from the hippie movement
and feminism. Yeah.
Because relationship, right. Well, the hippie movement and the free love was all feminist movement.
Yeah, it's all.
Why can't we go out and be
layers of it, yeah.
whores? Which I can't. I'm like, go be whores, whatever, cool, I guess. But this is what happens in the end.
And it streamlines right into the abortion issue. It's the same thing. That 95% of abortions are because somebody slept with somebody else and they regret it and they don't want to have a kid.
That's right.
Yeah, but they'll bring it up like 5% of actual abortions are medically reason for medically problem. They were raped, whatever. Fuck the 95%. It's the 5%. So they're basically just saying that, oh, it's okay that you're a whore. It's okay. Because there's options of getting out of being a whore.
Well, the problem with being a whore, and this is like home math stuff, is that they don't
I don't
attract.
want a whore. I want a nice girl.
Correct, because we're decent people. See, non-decent people don't mind whores, and they'll have babies with them and take off.
Scorpio doesn't want a whore. He wants a nice girl.
Me too.
I don't know if he's married or not, but he wants a nice girl.
Anyways, so that's my point. Is I think this all it's one after the other. It's like a ball rolling downhill, and I think it started when the hippies turned against their parents.
Yeah, which is kind of the reason why I wanted to show something as far as that type of, so it gave people an idea of what it was like back then. So I thought Tim did a pretty good job as far as describing that. And there's a lot of stuff that you can even deep dive, but it's like 2 hours long, and it's like I don't know if people want to sit through a 2 hour long. You know?
I might check it out while I'm at work on my other screen tomorrow.
Yeah, so you could deep dive the shit out of this stuff. But yeah, so this is the last video, and then we'll just kind of give our final stuff on it. But how can you change somebody or change somebody's opinion that is just doesn't, they're not looking at things logically. They're looking at it through an emotional or an emotional view, yes, but they're so worried about being on the wrong team and for that said team to look cross-eyed at them, that they're so worried about being accepted by whoever it is. And it's just like, I have never looked at the world that way, and I'm never going to. I do things not to be accepted by everyone. Do I want friends? Do I want people to say, you know what, that was fucking kick-ass, dude. You did a good thing. Yeah, I want that. Who wants that? I mean, that's part of being a human. That's part of being part of the human experience. But to live your life for being accepted by a group is fucking retarded, and is never going to give you the benefits that you want, because if you prop this group up, this group is going to get shit on. If you prop this group up, this group's going to be shit on. It's a fucking mouse reel of just bullshit over and over and over. It's never going to be solved.
And if your belief system is based on being accepted by a group, then I would just be you. Don't be them.
Yeah.
You'll find a them if you're genuine to yourself, because you'll attract decent people, but it's.
And do you think it's a human nature thing? Because, I mean, you remember high school, everybody grouped up in different things. You had the popular kids, and you had the nerds, and you had the black people that were sitting all together. And then you had the Hispanic people that were sitting all together because they could speak Spanish to each other. You had you know what I mean? Like, everybody all just naturally gravitates to a group.
Yes, jamming people together is not a natural thing. It has to be forced.
So do you think it's just a human thing about people wanting to be accepted by a group of some sort, whatever the group is?
I think you want to surround yourself with people who at least have like-minded kind of morals, ethics, and values. And sometimes that's a cultural thing. Sometimes it's a class thing. Sometimes it's an interest thing. You want to hang out. Like, I like rock music. I'll hang out with my buddies and talk about, I'm not going to hang out with the hip hop crowd. That's not my thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think people want it to be, I agree with you, but I think that people like automatically, because me and Julio have a lot in common and we get along, we talk about music, we talk to this and that and the other thing, that everything that Julio says is gospel. Like people think that, you know what I mean? That a person that you have to agree with 100% of the shit that somebody says for you to be on board with them. You know what I mean?
Well,
like that's not normal.
I'm also self-effacing and self-aware enough to realize that, let's say we'll take me as an example, since I'm the one talking. If you go, boy, Julio's right about everything, I'm going to believe in everything he says. I have 2 divorces. I'm practically broke. I'm 57 years old and live in a 1-bedroom apartment. That's what all my decisions, that's where it's gotten me. So if that's what you want, great. So
because
I'm not a failure. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
Do you think that the people look at that because they're missing so much in their lives that they're trying to glob onto somebody to fill that void? Yes. And regardless if they're right, wrong, center, whatever the fuck it is, it doesn't matter to them because they're globbing onto them because they're trying to fill some sort of void.
I think so. That hits a little. Yeah. I mean, listen, Derek, to be honest, we'll turn it inward. I'm on BTM reviews all the time.
Yeah.
I talk to you, love talking to you on Sundays. It's fun. But it's being on not necessarily this show because it's Sunday afternoon once a week.
Yeah.
Fine. But there are weeks I'm on his show like 4 or 5 times a week, right?
Yeah.
And I do stop and go, I'm doing this because I'm fucking lonely.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because I
And
have
you're talking
friends,
with
but they live pretty
like-minded
far
people.
away.
Yeah.
I have kids I'm very close to, but they're my kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it is filling a void. So I'm as guilty of that, I guess, as anybody would be, I suppose.
Yeah, but you're if I say something that you dislike, or Dave says something you dislike, or whoever says something you dislike, you're gonna say no. I kind of I disagree with you.
That's true.
Like you're not gonna just glob onto him and agree with everything Dave says or everything that I say.
No,
I think
no,
that's
I think
the difference between somebody like us and somebody that's a younger person now in 2025. Is it's all
or
about
an
filling
older
that
person
void.
or an older person on Friday Night Tights, where it's all yes and yes, agreed,
Exactly.
agreed. Like, how can 10 people agree on everything every week? That makes no sense to me.
It makes no sense to me either. So we're gonna watch this video. We're gonna give kind of our final comments, and then we'll call it a show. I think it was a good conversation, and I
Had a
know
good time.
sometimes our conversations are parallel with each other, but it's always going to be like that, kind of, because we talk about our own experiences, and that stuff always kind of our own takes come from our own experiences. So a lot of times the conversations will skew a little bit, but I think that's kind of a human nature thing. But I like looking at different perspectives on things. You know what I mean? So
Me too.
so we're gonna play this and then give our final thoughts.
Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear they're unable to respond effectively and responsibly during calamity. Whether it's sheer incompetence or outright malevolence, the reality is stark. California's in a state of turmoil, and I ask my fellow Angelenos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded upon and promises to offer. That's all. Gavin Newsom.
Is he wrong?
Nope.
As far as I consume, both of them should have been gone during those fucking fires.
I
For their
agree, but
incompetence.
what I think he's right. I agree with his position, but really what he's doing is no different than what Eva Longoria was doing.
True. But did he say vote for a Republican or vote for a Democrat? He did not.
No.
He did not say, because he's in a Democratic state, so he knows where it's going to go. So is he going to change anybody's mind if he says vote for Republican? No, he's not going to change anybody's mind.
Nope.
So it's no different than him being on the right versus us listening to fucking Eva Longoria. It's not. It's the same.
When
But
I
is he-
vote, I think the first thing I think is which candidate has policies that would be best for my children. That's my number one.
Yeah.
Second is best for me, and then maybe friends, larger community. I always follow that line, which is maybe selfish, but
I mean, you kind of have to selfish for the next generation. You have to kind of be.
everybody who votes should be selfish. That way you get people. I mean, everybody gets one vote.
'Cause, yeah, you
So-
should be looking out for your own family and your own family
Right.
tree, as opposed to some fucking somebody that you don't know, that you're claiming that you know what they're thinking or their experience or what they're going through. You're never going to see me. You're never going to see me stand up for something or someone that I have no idea what they fucking deal with. I have no idea. I don't self-proclaim to be the expert of fucking everything, but I do call balls and strikes, and I call bullshit when bullshit is need to be called.
But yeah, to my point, like I wouldn't place my vote based on what's good for Derek because that's Derek's job. You put your vote in for what's good for you.
Exactly.
And then we'll see what happens. Yeah.
I don't understand trying to speak for other communities. You have no idea what they've been through. You have no idea. So yeah, another great stream. I appreciate it. I really enjoy these, and we're going to definitely get into the weeds on other shows. Like I said, we're going to do a Manson episode. We're going to do a music episode and talk about a little bit more on your background as far as your musical stuff, and then how that relates to movies and film and stuff like that.
Sounds like fun.
And then I'm still reaching out to a guest. Just try to get him to lock down on a date. Have him come out. He was an LA guy. He's got a comic book, so he's going to talk about his comic book. But I'm more interested on the LA side of him and like what his experiences were and how he started working for Disney and what was involved with that. So
he can show his merch at the end. He can show his merch at the end of the show.
Yeah. So he's definitely going to show his comic book, which is it's going to be super cool. But I'm more interested in the LA version of him because he was in LA when I was in LA, so he's probably seen some of the stuff that I saw. You know what I mean?
Hope you can schedule that because that sounds. I'd be interested in hearing it and being a part of it.
So hopefully Sunday. But like I said, he wants me to reach out to him like Wednesday or Thursday to lock it down. I would have rather had him say, "Hey, I can do it this day," so I can shill on no social media and get more people's eyeballs on it. But I mean, it is what it is. So, and then I want to reach out to some actors and some producers and see if we can do some interviews with them. So yeah, definitely do some different things, but thank you everybody for watching. I appreciate you. And usually what I do is I'll have this live stream up for a couple days, and then I'll probably get copyright struck for something dumb because we were commenting on it. And then what I do is I'll break it up into shorts, and I'll break it up to shorts and then like 20-minute videos. That way I could turn a 3-hour thing into like 20 different videos and then just post them one day. You know what I mean? So yeah. The last 2 weeks I've gotten 6 subscribers just by posting one video a day. Good. So not all of the videos hit, but it's definitely getting people to subscribe and pay attention. So hopefully, I am not an expert when it comes to this YouTube stuff. So whatever. I'm just trying stuff and see if it works.
Sounds good.
So thank you everybody for watching, and we'll see you next Sunday, high noon.
See you.
It's high noon. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Keep my head up when I act, head up, that's a fact. Never looking back, I'ma keep myself on track. Keep my head up, staying strong, always moving on. Feel I don't belong, tell my thoughts to move along. Push myself to be the best, die with no regrets. Live with every breath, see my message start to spread. And I had so many dreams, then you hit your teens. Life ain't really what it seems, try to find out what it means. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick of being screwed, feel my own adrenaline. Yeah, I do just what I do, and I hope you let me in, yeah. I'm grateful, oh yeah, able, oh yeah, I'm stable, oh yeah, no label, oh yeah, you know me, oh yeah, only a fact, I'm lonely, but damn, I'm going to win. I want no fake love, I want the real stuff. Everybody listen up, cause I'll only say it once. I'm gonna show you all the path, if you want it bad. I'm gonna show you every side, yeah, how you can get it back. Yeah, cause I ain't never done, I'll be number one. Working hella hard until I get just what I want, yeah. Rises like the sun, yeah, fatal like a gun. Shooter's gonna shoot and I'm gonna shoot until I fall. Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being